Welcome to the Was It Good Though podcast. We'll be bringing raw and unfiltered energy for each movie and TV show that we will be reviewing. Just think of it as turning your movie group chat into a podcast. I am one of your hosts. My name is Jazz.
I am Jason. And man, per usual, I got some house rules I want to run through with you. So let's get started. One, we will be spoiling this review. So if you haven't seen it, you haven't watched it, please stop, go check it out, and then come listen to this review. Number two, please like, share, subscribe. Let your friends know, let your church members know, let your family know what we are doing over here at the Was It Good Though podcast. Number three, have fun. We just kicking shit, having fun with my friends. That's what we do. And last but not least, this is not a kid-friendly podcast. So if you're watching with your kids, that's something on you that has nothing to do with us. Let's get to this review. Anywho, so before we even really get into this at all, it made me think back, to the Temptations and the Five Heartbeats discussion. And Chris was the first one Chris was the first one inside the link. And I was like, oh shit, because I was just walking around the house doing stuff, and I was like, ah shit, he pulled up like like David Ruffin. He was first time after the reunion tour. After always, we waiting on Chris. I said, oh damn. He said he
I'm trying to change my reputation, not be the link.
Is this a safe space since we're here?
I'm not
even going. So, Lisa, I told you our time, which was 9. Mm-hmm. I told Chris 8:40 because Chris is always late. Always. Chris late in person. Chris late on the Zoom. Chris is late everywhere. So I told Jason, I said, I'm gonna tell Chris 9:40 because we're not about to be waiting on him tonight. And he was the first one. So Chris, you know what? I love to see that growth in you, my brother.
What's funny is I was actually on time for 8:42.
You was on time for 8:40.
Yeah, I was ready.
Look at that. We wasn't though, but
no, it's all good. I get it.
Hold on. What this is 114. Right? Ooh. I run it, you don't know? Yeah, I definitely don't know.
Yes, because Hitman was 113.
Yeah, we really pulling a Joe Budden, losing the pod numbers. Let me see. I just want to verify that. Okay, cool. That's actually perfect, based on, the date, but we do have one person, at least on this podcast, that will get killed. Hello, welcome to the Was It Good Though podcast, the podcast about movies and TV shows, and I am safe. I am Jason.
I am not safe, and I am Jazz. The 14th. Get me wrong.
But on today, we are discussing Longlegs, another one of those movies where they are putting everything down on it and making it the horror movie of the decade. But who better or best to have this discussion than with one of our boys, our guys. Chris, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, sir. Go ahead and do your shameless plug. Let the people know what you got going on and what you got coming.
Yeah, y'all follow me on Twitter at Chris LaFleur. I've been writing a lot about sports as of late. NFL is right around the corner, so like that's pretty passionate about it like that just as much as movies. So at Crazy Scary Cool, so just talking about fantasy sports now. I really got a thing for that. So if anybody wants to chop it up about the NFL, college, getting back into that, or just sports in general, it's the Olympics going on. So yeah, down for all of it.
Gotcha. I don't know when we would have you back, Chris, but what football team are you claiming? I'm gonna just let the people know.
I'm a Panthers fan. People can laugh. That don't move me. That don't move me. I've seen 1-15. Like nothing. The jokes doesn't faze me. So y'all can giggle. Jason over there having a blast laughing. I done seen 2-14, 2-15. It's all good. But I'm a Panthers fan. We're not going to be that good this year, but it's all good, man. I got a long life. we'll be good again at some point in my life. So it's all good.
All right,
I'm gonna let Jazz.
Jason.
What? You
No,
done?
listen, he need to be done. Like, stop. I don't like these memories are not good.
So
Like,
I'm over here thinking like, you know how terrible your team has to be okay with people laughing at it.
Jason,
You've
It don't phase me.
accepted.
this
Like,
is not where we at.
It don't phase
uh,
me.
however, with this discussion, we had such a good time last time we brought the next person on. So we had to bring her back so we can get into the horror back. Because she says she into horror too. So we gonna see today, because clearly she into killing people. Miss Lisa, you are back, and I believe you're the first guest that comes back to back.
Chris was.
What Chris do?
Chris was with our live pod, and then Chris came back for another episode.
Okay, he did. Never mind then, Lisa.
Second.
But y'all in the same
No,
episode together.
it wasn't that one, but yeah, it wasn't that moment, but it was. Okay, come
You don't know
on,
what's
I'll
going
text
on.
you. No,
Okay.
I'm looking at Jason like it was because it was Evil Dead Rise, and then it was Scream 3. So Chris came back.
Okay. Got you. But Miss Lisa, this is your turn. How are you today?
I am good. I'm good. And Chris, I hear you. All right. I'm a Sixers fan for life, irregardless. So I understand the struggle. I get it.
Y'all got different problems than us, but yeah, but we here. You know, we here.
Yeah. At least are you a football fan?
It's where they throw the thing and run.
You said Sixers, so I mean, I didn't imagine you were a football fan because you would have said the football team first, but you yelled out the basketball team. So
yeah, my dad was an Eagles fan, so if I'm gonna pick somebody, it's Eagles, but I'm not like big into football.
I understand. You got the fresh retwist on today. I ain't gonna say you did it for the episode, but I'm gonna say it's for the episode. But let the people know what you got going on, what you got coming, and where they can find you.
All right. I did kind of time it for the episode. You kind of a little right on that.
Come on.
So I am a writer, director, producer. I have my own production company. You can find me at NXG Global Productions on IG or YouTube, and also Real Movie Lovers as another podcast I do. And we're now, on audio everywhere, Spotify, all of the nice things. I have my Zombie Chronicles season 1 show that I wrote, produced, and directed is on Tubi and Amazon Prime now.
Oh wow,
so
that's fire.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
That's actually like really impressive. Wow, that's great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's impressive to him. We've been trying to get him to write a movie or TV show, but that's just not him.
Why not?
I'm not that creative. Like that's a level of creativity that I don't possess. I could write about other things. Like I could probably I don't know, what's current events or things like that. But that creativity to screenwrite or just to make something like that, like that's a whole different skill set. Like everybody who has written a book, written a screenplay for a movie, like I mean that's just so impressive to me.
So when me and Jazz gonna do it at some point, and then we'll just have you and Crystal clean up like the other stuff on the other side of it. Because I do think y'all have opinions that can be brought to it. Crystal will probably be hands-on depending on what the content is. Chris will be more so he can let us know if the story makes sense or not, going to the end. But yeah, I think we can do that. Now we got Miss Lisa over here. We might have to pay her to do it, but you know what I'm saying. She can definitely help help as well if you're into that. But yeah, it's definitely been something that's been heavy on my mind. I feel like.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh, also, this is my merch.
She had some merch on last week as well.
It is trademarked.
Turn that up. But episode 114, Longlegs. So of course, everybody is claiming this is horror movie of the decade, not just of the year. And I think the issues that I have been seeing with the movie has been the supernatural part of it. I'm more so curious what Jazz thinks about the movie because she's the one I haven't really heard anything from, as well as Lisa, because I think last time we talked, you hadn't seen it yet, I think. But
Right. And
yeah,
I went to
so
go see it.
yeah, so that's gonna be interesting, man. So I think okay, one of the big things is, of course, the intro. Intro movies, they kind of set the tone for any kind of horror movie. I do think the first three scenes for this one kind of sets up the entire movie. So I'm gonna start with you, Lisa. What did you think about the intro of Longlegs?
Um, I thought it was very captivating. I liked how they played around with the aspect ratio of the screen. Um, the color the color red, very well done. Like it just kind of grabs your attention immediately. And then the what you have it up right now behind you, Jazz, the
The
like
face.
I knew that Nicolas Cage was in the movie, and I forgot though. Like that's how immersed he was in the character that it didn't come back up until I think he was I don't know at the grocery store or something or being interrogated. I was like, he did something or said something. I was like, ah, there it is, there it is, gotcha. But yeah.
Jazz, what about you? What did you think about the intro of this movie?
I mean, it was definitely very eerie, and the way that this movie used its angles, the cinematography in this as a whole, I thought was beautiful. And I would say this is a movie that should definitely experience in theaters because the way that they just did everything, it just intensified the experience, in my opinion, outside of me being in a bad movie experience to see this. But we don't have to go down that road. But Lisa, I definitely want to piggyback off of the picture that's my background, Nicolas Cage. The way that they showed half of his face, I thought was genius. That it took so long for you to actually see what he looked like because they showed you some sides of him, but then it flipped to something else. And I'm just like, well, when am I going to see his face? Like, I need to see this. And so, just giving you those breadcrumbs, I thought the film did a great job in the introduction of the characters. I mean, you get a kill off gate and one that you didn't kind of really expect. In my opinion, I didn't expect that when you have Lee and her partner going out to this house, and she's like, "Oh, that's them right there," and you just like, "So what? She psychic?" Because her partner is like dead on the ground. So I didn't know where this movie was going to take me. So it was good to it was a good ride. It was bumpy, but it was definitely a good ride in the beginning.
She said in the beginning. So Jazz, it's kind of funny that you say it does take a while before we do see Nick can't even say Nick Cannon, Nick Cage character, because Micah, which is the lead in this movie, she didn't see Nick Cage until she was in the interrogation room. That was her first time ever meeting him, first time ever seeing him, and she was so afraid when she seen him. Her heart rate is at some point you can hear it, but her heart rate got picked up on the microphone because she was just that afraid going into that scene.
Hope you didn't ask me no question.
I didn't. So Chris, with you, I know you were talking about she shouldn't have been doing this job. What did you think about the lead in this movie?
Um, I mean, I think I may have told Jazz. I think that she would have been better at like doing desk duty. I think that I think that with the psychic abilities, I think that it made her really good at like solving mysteries. Like she figured out the code that was in the letter. So I think that she did good with that. But I think that her being out in the field, like she I mean she was having panic attacks a little bit. So it seemed like she was getting kind of overwhelmed. And it just didn't seem like the actual for like she's not a cop, but the cop aspect of it, like holding the like having the gun and stuff. It said there was some moments where she kind of froze up some, but I think that she was excellent in terms of like the research and figuring out cases. So that aspect, I thought that she was really good. And Micah, I think her name is. I think she did excellent in this role. Like she really just captured there was something kind of off about her. Like you could tell early on that she probably had something traumatic to happen to her. And I thought that she played that role really well. So, but as far as the actual agent. I mean, I think that like she'll be like amazing, like in terms of actual detective and cracking the mystery.
Yeah. One thing I do love about this film, or a lot of like I guess it's like the period, and not necessarily the period piece. When they go back to the 70s and 80s and they do a horror film, because you kind of take away a lot of different elements that would kind of kill the movie to a certain extent, or it makes a lot of things a bit more accessible. Where back in the day, you're kind of having to go to a certain place, like whether it's grab a phone because you don't have a cell phone during these times, or different things. And one movie that I felt, I ain't gonna necessarily say was influenced by this, but just like brought me into a mind of, was two movies for sure that Ethan Hawke was in. Black Phone was one, and then the other one was Sinister. It made me think of Sinister because, of course, it's the families killing the families. well, I think in that one it was the baby, like the baby was killing the people. This time it's typically the dad killing the entire family. So Jazz, for you, what movies did you think was influenced by, not influenced by, but this movie took influences from?
So I would definitely say Silence of the Lamb, but I also feel like the creator or director mentioned that Silence of the Lamb was an influence within this movie. And then I'm going to also say like a hint of Seven, because of course you had the cops trying to find the person that's committing these crimes, and then in the end, we can probably kind of put this on the list of maybe where the villain got away with it. I don't know, but
to a certain extent, it kind of gave me what was your movie that you like?
I mean, if
With
you say
Denzel.
Skeleton Key, oh,
I
Fallen,
I, I
yeah,
ain't
that's
seen.
another movie.
I still ain't seen that
I
movie.
know. I mean, but we talked about it last week. We kind of told you what it was about, but
I don't.
anyway,
I
yes.
forgot on purpose.
See, Lisa, the shit I deal with. But Fallen, yeah, Fallen is definitely another one. So,
Yeah,
because
sure.
you have the villain that's, I'm sorry to cut you off, but you got the villain that's taunting your cop. Like, you write my name down on the sign-in sheet. Like, okay.
What about you, Lisa? What movies did you think this movie pulled influences from?
Well, one I definitely said was Fallen, which you guys mentioned. Hereditary. I got a lot of Hereditary vibes. And
I know what Jazz mind going to.
and the Island of Dr. Moreau.
I've never
Haven't seen
seen
that.
that.
Me neither.
Wait, please tell me, like, which elements, because that was with Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
Jazz love Val
Really?
Kilmer.
I'm going with Dr. Moreau because that's exactly what Nick Cage looked like. All right, and all that white makeup. That's what, yeah.
Okay.
Y'all just Google it and y'all just look at the screenshot. Y'all see what I'm talking about.
What about you, Chris? What influences you think this movie pulled from?
Visually, I would say there's this movie called Enos Man. It has nothing. I think it's on Shutter. It's also a neon film. It has the plot isn't like that, but some of those like grainy shots that we saw in the 70s throwbacks, like they were similar. This is kind of it's a movie, but I would say Zodiac. I would say with him writing the letters and them chasing them. Jazz, you already said Silence of the Lambs and Seven. Those are films I was gonna say too, but I would say slight Zodiac. Another one I would say is not a movie, but the first season of True Detective. I would say like there was a supernatural element with that, them chasing the killer. Um, like both that season's like kind of weird a little bit, kind of macabre. I kind of felt like that way with this here, but I think Jazz hit the nail on the head with Silence of the Lambs and Seven. Like those are the two movies. And then I haven't seen this movie, but on Twitter, someone said this movie called The Black Coat's Daughter. I've seen it on Netflix before. Like I haven't actually watched it, but I've seen it like on there, and I just never got around to watching it. I can't actually vouch for it, but someone said that it was like a direct influence. So I wanted to watch to see if that was actually true, but maybe that's another film that is like it.
You see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that. But yeah, like so when I was looking at it, I was like, dang, it made me think of Ethan Hawke when he was the killer, especially when he was in Black Phone. And I was like, that'd be interesting. So but also with this movie, just based on how it ended, it made me think because it's very rare that I care about a prequel of a film, but I do think a movie like this would benefit from a prequel. What about what you think, Jazz? Nah, you're not feeling it.
Oh, you go ahead, Jason.
It's a question for you. You can say we are here now. You can, if you want to trash the movie, this is the space for you to do that.
Jason, why nobody's saying I'm trashing the movie. I just find it interesting that the way that you be moving when what you feel deserves a sequel and the movies that you feel like doesn't. And I just look at the movies that you make these suggestions for, and I just find it very interesting. That is all.
I mean, yes, because not everything deserves it, but I do think this would be one because we didn't follow Longlegs technically. We followed Lee and her mama. So Longlegs we really don't know about. Now, for me personally, I don't have to have background. I don't have to have background information for a character because it's not needed. And I do think this movie, unlike Maxine, benefits from not really following the killer of something and like switching it to another, switching the killer or switching the role halfway through the movie. It's perfectly fine. And Maxine, I think they kind of did it a disservice. I think it did it a service in this film doing that same exact thing. What you think, Chris?
In terms of like it doesn't need a prequel.
Yeah. I mean, so I ain't gonna say need. I don't think it needs a prequel. I do think a prequel series or prequel movie would be dope. Just based on Longlegs, whether it's showing how he got into the mystic art and got into devil worshiping or whatever it may be that he's into or got into. Because I mean, that was a supernatural element was something that was in this, and some people hated that part of the film, but I think it made a lot of sense.
Well, to answer your first question, I'm kind of anti-prequel, but I wouldn't be mad to see like his early life, to see like what was going on in like the 50s and the 60s or the 40s, however old he is, to get him to that. So yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that. But as far as the supernatural part, I feel like that's the only way it could have made the film could make sense is a supernatural element, especially when it established that like since there was he obviously wasn't in the house. Like how would he have convinced them how would he have gotten those kills if there wasn't some sort of supernatural element? So I think it needed to be. And so if it was just that he was convincing them, that would have felt kind of flimsy. So I'm not mad at the supernatural element. I didn't even know that people were upset about it. I don't think that like I kind of like when crime kind of like, because to me I consider this like a crime horror suspense thriller. I'm not mad like if there are like some slight elements of the supernatural. It doesn't need to be like an either or. That if it's crime, it has to just be like realistic. So I'm not mad at that, and actually would be kind of cool to see like because he was doing magic, so to see like how he actually figured that out, that would be kind of interesting, like maybe as like a limited series or like a small budget movie.
Yeah. It was because I think they wanted Nick Cage to be like they wanted this to be like a slasher, a crime slasher. I feel like they wanted him to be out catching these bodies like the way the way it's him catching the bodies. And I feel like he was just a bit too old to be that clever to be out here going around killing people and just being able to clean up his entire. I mean, back in the 70s, they didn't really have DNA, so that wasn't something they would have been able to figure out anyway. But the mom, whenever we seen how she would get in there, she would just being able to sneak her way into the house and just leave, not have to touch anything. She just had to visually watch these crimes to make sure they got passed, and then she left. So I don't know. Lisa, how do you feel about prequels, just prequels period, not necessarily prequel for this movie, but just prequels?
I'm not opposed to prequels. It kind of depends on what you're focusing on or who you're focusing on. I don't need a prequel for this movie. And I feel like, oddly enough, a prequel would take out some of the steam in this movie for me. Like the idea that all this was going on before, and we kind of catch at the tail end of it, maybe the tail end of it. That itself is what the interesting part to me. And even it was something that his character had said when he was being interrogated or in the interrogation room. Something about like here we go. Yes, she is the seventh one to be given the same gift to choose between crimson and clove. So I'm like, oh snap, the mama is the seventh person, which means there's six other women that I guess have gone through this. So I understand them wanting to explore a prequel in that sense, but I feel like it would I like the idea of like not knowing what those other six women were called to do.
Lisa, one thing I want to say, like with horror, I would say like I'm cool with horror not over explaining itself. And that's one reason why I am kind of anti prequel. That like so I'm thinking of a movie like have you seen Black Christmas, the one from the 70s?
No.
So it's an excellent film, and to me, it's an excellent slasher film. But I think it does a great job that it gives you just enough to push the movie forward, but it doesn't over-explain itself. It doesn't give like background. It doesn't give an origin story. Like I don't really feel like we need origin, so it gives you just enough to kind of like leave you with questions, but it's not giving you like this whole background why this person did that. It just gets the movie going, and I feel like movies from the 70s did a good job with that. I think movies today Longlegs didn't do that, but I think movies try to over-explain themselves. So I'm with you that we don't need every single T crossed and I dotted. Like, just give us enough so that the plot makes sense, and then kind of leave us with some questions. So I'm cool with like, even though I said like I'm cool with like I wouldn't mind seeing a prequel. I'm also cool with leaving it a mystery because I think that's what makes horror good. Same thing with like Halloween. Like I think Halloween is at its best when it's like, how does Michael do this? We don't always need to explain. So I feel where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's one of my That's one of my things. One of my biggest gripes where they feel like they have to explain everything when it comes to a movie. Now, I do think a prequel in this, it doesn't necessarily like I hear what you're saying, Lisa. As far as everything doesn't have to be explained. It can take the steam, but at the same time, I do feel like everything doesn't have to be explained, even if they did make a prequel series. So like the first kill, like how do we get this? Was he raped? Was he raised as was he an abused kid? Like how do we even get to the point of him getting back? Like was this something that he was taught? Was it something that was he raised this way? It's just certain things like that I feel like you can do without explaining. We don't have to go through all seven of the ladies or going through them. We could just go across how he met her mama, if anything. Like it don't even have to go through paint the whole backdrop, because it was 30 years of him killing, and he got to her, and it was at least 7 girls, unless he picked because it wasn't a different woman for each person, I don't think. So how many people did he really kill? That's the other part in that. And was it just the 13 murders? I'm assuming. Because it was 13.
I mean, that we know about. I mean, he mentioned she's the seventh one. So the other 6 women could have been even before him. He's the next one to pick the 7th woman. And then my thing to you is, how did you feel about Rob Zombie's Halloween?
You asking me?
Me or Jason?
Both of y'all.
Well, Michael Myers is my favorite killer, first off. Them over explaining Michael Myers in that, but in that, it's a contradiction, right? It's a contradiction. So I enjoy things from that movie, and there's certain things that I don't like from it. I enjoy Michael when you don't know he's just a kid that just did it, as opposed to he was a kid that was this joyous kid that lost his thunder. Then he started killing animals, and then he started killing people. Like that stuff right there. I didn't need that. And then they made part 2, and I was just like, these motherfuckers is tripping. These motherfuckers is tripping. Now they got this psychic connection and all this bullshit. Nah.
So it's funny you asked, because I actually there's this like indie movie theater for Halloween that played both of them. So I watched them both at the same time, or like one after another. So honestly, I actually really enjoyed part 1. And I liked it as a kid. I was like 16 when it came out, but sometimes I got to rewatch stuff to see if it still holds up. But I like 1. And Jason, I see where you're coming from, but I guess the reason why I liked it, because if you're going to remake something, Like, if it's just going to be like a shot for shot remake, or if it's just going to be the film, or the essence of the film is going to be the same, we don't really need it. Unless it's a film that came out like 70 years ago, you know what I'm saying? And like maybe updating the technology. But like if Ram Zombie was just going to make the same as that film as 78, we don't really need that. So I'm actually cool that he gave us a different take on it, and that he actually gave the backstory, because a lot of the questions have been, okay, what made Michael tick? So I actually enjoyed that, and seeing like the bullied aspect. I get that it's controversial, but I really enjoyed it. And I like that they made it was a lot more brutal. Like that one was pretty violent, and that was actually the first Halloween film that I actually thought was violent and intense. So I enjoyed that. Two, there were things that I liked about it, but the psychic connection, that was just like kind of lame. I think Rob Zombie wanted to keep his wife in the movie, and that was the only way that kind of made sense in it. But I wasn't feeling it. And then having him talk at the end, that well, I'm not mad at him talking, but the psychic connection is what really took me out. I thought that was kind of ridiculous, actually, but I still mostly enjoyed it.
Michael shouldn't be talking, dog. Michael shouldn't be talking. The nigga, he should have like a bow of silence.
How did his voice sound?
It was like mad raspy and like hoarse, like just I don't know, this is hoarse.
He was walking around without the mask the entire movie. He was just mobbing through the neighborhood. Then he'd put the mask on when he finna go do action. I was like, bro, man, nah, hell, like.
Lisa, what'd you think about it? And also, Michael's my favorite character. He might be my favorite. He's up there for my favorite fictional character. But what'd you think about it?
Rob Zombie movie?
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. And I'm glad I watched it. We didn't really need it. And I don't even think that they did that great of a job of showing him from going 0 to 6. I don't think they did. I mean, I don't. Maybe I've watched too much horror movies, so I expected worse things to happen to him to turn him into Michael. But I was like, that's it.
Yeah, he was just, I guess his stepdad wasn't the best, and then he was getting bullied. It was a little flimsy. You would think that it was something a little bit worse, but I guess
no, it was horrible things for a child to go through.
Yeah,
let me put that out there.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
But for a child to become Michael Myers, I need you to come a little bit,
because I think they made fun of him for his mom being a stripper. That was actually funny. And they called his sister a whore or something. And I'm like, really? That's it, you know?
Hey, man, look, white kids, they skin ain't as tough, so they,
yeah, that's
you know
true.
what I'm
yeah.
saying? You know, I'm just saying we got a few real life incidents where they go and do some crazy shit. You be like, what was so wrong, man?
Yo, to be honest with you, that actually kind of tracks. That they do be,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, their parents get divorced and they lose.
Scream 3 is trash because kids was bad, because kids was getting bullied. Yes, Jazz. Let's make it real. Let's make it real life.
I'm not saying it was trash, but I am saying certain events caused it to lose a lot of steam during their post-production of everything, because we not being able to do what we normally do, and it's a slasher because y'all snap. I get it. But I mean, hypothetically, how many kids today is getting picked on because their mom got an OnlyFans and the people in their classroom are seeing it?
A lot.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot. Hopefully they don't turn into Michael Myers, though.
There's probably a lot of Myers out there.
They are Michael Myers, nigga. Have you watched? Are you on Twitter? These niggas is crazy out here today. But they mamas ain't on OnlyFans. They just I don't know what they got.
They just crazy. Twitter's a wild place.
They doing TikTok challenges or whatever.
Man.
Wait, since we hear of Michael Myers, have y'all seen the videos of where one person is being Michael Myers and the other one is running to the front door to see how quickly they can get through the door?
I would stumble. I know. I'll probably drop the key. I would drop the key.
Be the first one to die in a horror movie.
Well, first off, if Michael Myers is chasing you, why are you running into the house? I'm running like in the street. I'm just gonna take off. He's just going to have to run. He's just going to catch me.
But Michael don't run though.
He don't run. He still catch you.
That nigga, he know the blocks. That nigga know the block.
That
nigga a crackhead.
That's your favorite killer.
Hey man,
Michael, that boy.
Yeah, Jason walks briskly.
He does. That nigga, I don't know, he got a supernatural element to him though. That nigga be popping up out of nowhere, like damn shit. He ain't over here. Damn, he in front of me. What the fuck? He be sitting here. Another part of this movie, of course, after lead partner get killed, she get introduced to Agent Carter. Jazz, what did you think about Agent Carter, and what he was looking for Lee to do?
So first and foremost, I enjoyed Blair Underwood in this movie. I think this is the first time I saw him in a horror film. He wasn't beating on no woman. He wasn't trying to save a hoe from robbing the bank. He was a cop. One that wasn't afraid to look
I'm in a
one of his
bind,
people in
Nate.
the face. That was not him.
I know, but I'm gonna forever say it though. I don't give a damn.
I know you're just gonna be wrong
Every time.
He saved her, but no, like he was just like I thought their interactions were really. I am.
No,
I can hear her.
I can hear her too.
Chris, can you hear us?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, my bad. That was me. My fault. I pressed the button. Okay. My mistake.
Nah.
My fault.
Nigga, so you can see your screen.
Jason, keep that in. But nah, I definitely enjoyed their interactions. The fact that Lee definitely seemed somewhat like standoffish, and she just like, I don't want to come meet your family. He's like, yeah, you're gonna do it anyway. And I was just like, can she go home? He already drunk, but
Jazz, if you was married to Agent Carter and he brought this young girl home at 12 o'clock at night,
ain't no fucking way. Ain't no way. She's not going in my daughter's room chilling. I didn't understand that at all because I'm like, why is she back here? And first off, I'm gonna tell my daughter, stop inviting people to your room, sis. That is not starting to habit.
Lee Harker got a real case. Why is she around? Like for real.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I was like, and there is the suspension of disbelief I can't get behind. Ain't no way. A black? Okay, all right.
Wait. Was you said who? She wasn't black.
Yeah, I don't think she was black.
She wasn't black.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
I don't know. I think she was all white. I don't know.
You know what?
White?
No, she wasn't.
Why you white?
Because the daughter looked mixed.
You said she was white? You say white?
What do you think she is?
She's not white.
What do you think she is?
I can't even with you right now.
She was from like Guyana or something.
Guyana? What the fuck is Guyana?
Somewhere in nigga, don't get me to lying, bro.
Why you say that shit?
Nigga, because I've met people from Guyana, but I can't point it on the map.
This nigga
have you seen like people from like the Trinidad?
Okay.
She kind of looked like them. Like I have a relative who's from the Trinidad, and they kind of, to me, they look similar, or maybe like Indian and black. But I don't think she definitely wasn't white though.
She's not. Yeah. She's from the Caribbean. Oh no, she's from Canada.
She's from Canada. Yeah, she's from the same place Drake from. It's in my Caribbean. Yeah, he's from the Caribbean too, literally.
But one thing I would say, I know y'all mentioned that you didn't like her coming in, but like I feel like her character wasn't. That was like a way of like desexualizing her character, because I feel like any other horror movie they would have given them like a love interest, or she would have been. I don't know. I feel like the film took a different approach by not making it like sexual or romantic or anything like that at all. Like, I don't know if that kind of makes, to me, it makes sense in my head. Like, I feel like it was a little bit odd that like, yeah, she ain't take no issue with it, but I feel like the purpose of her character wasn't to be some sort of like sexual object or romantic potential, if that makes sense.
So, I mean, we can go back to Silence of the Lamb. Clarice didn't have a love interest in that either. Normally, when you have movies where the focus is on the female cop that's really into her job, she rarely has a love interest. And I'm not really sure who would sexualize that kind of character. But also, I'm not attractive to women either. So, Chris, I guess with her being standoffish to the little girl, did it kind of decline? Like, she's not as sexy, or I guess what vibes did you get from Lee in this movie?
She just seemed off. Like she seemed like something like she had experienced something traumatic, and then she just seemed like an anxious woman, and she just seemed like a woman who had just experienced some sort of trauma, and she just seemed like kind of weird, a little bit, just a little bit off, just very introverted, not she's saying antisocial. So like in that, so I don't even think that like his wife would have even seen her as like a potential like romantic threat for Blair under for Agent Carter, just because I felt like she was just so weird and so antisocial. Like from the opening scene, she just seemed that I kind of got that vibe from her.
Even with that, I'm not letting a stranger, me personally, in
Who
my
is she?
child's room.
Who is she a
I get
stranger
that.
to?
I get
Who is
that.
she a
That's
stranger?
more my problem than anything. That's
Yeah.
more my problem than anything. And like I'm like, how many times does Blair Underwood, Agent Carter, bring home agents and whatnot for it to be like, oh yeah, come on in. Oh, mommy, can she come to my party? Yeah.
But I guess his other agent was a woman, so maybe it wasn't like too unfamiliar for him to bring his agents home, like man or woman.
and
It
I and I look at it like, I mean, this is the 90s. So I just think times were a little bit different. So her coming over there and going to the room or visiting the kid's room after the kid asks in front of everybody, I don't think it's a problem necessarily. Or I mean, I get where y'all coming from. I get where you coming from, right?
Sorry.
Like
I'm having flashbacks.
I
I was
get where
certain
you
to never ask in
what.
front of my mama about friends.
Oh, see, okay. So, and that may have been a thing, but I guess within that, this person came home with daddy, so she the reason. If she the reason you late, we might as well get the motherfucker the tour of the house at this point. So she come on to the room. You can look at the room, and the whole time she's sitting over there looking all weird and shit, all twisted up.
Okay, keep her close by so you can watch her. Is that what you're trying to say?
I mean, to a certain, but I guess at the same time, it's like shit. This is somebody that's supposed to serve and protect and look after people. So I think that's what it took that piece off. Like when I seen that she wanted a black mama, I was like, okay, so it's not that anyway. Because if she was a black mama, that situation doesn't happen, in my opinion. And then we would have had the conversation we having. I feel like it would have been different. But anything that ain't a black mama, I just don't. I see it differently in my head.
Okay.
And I also, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Lisa.
Oh, no. I was gonna say, no, I see what you're saying. And real quick, the minute he said, come meet my family, I was like, oh, he the final family. The minute he said that.
Yeah.
See.
Did y'all okay, so was y'all shocked that her birthday was one of the days in this?
I wasn't, because sometimes like when I'm watching a movie like this, I'm not necessarily trying to crack the mystery. I'm just watching it.
That's why
So
you just submerged
yeah,
into it.
yeah. So sometimes I feel kind of dumb because on the second watch, it's very obvious. Like the breadcrumbs are there and the clues. Even some other things that like the mother had said, like it becomes very obvious. But I was shocked, but I also wasn't like trying to figure it out either.
So yeah, the birthday, I think, like I said, because each scene kind of sets up the different thing that leads to the end. Like I do feel like the intro scene, it shows the psychic abilities or whatever. The scene with her meeting the family was more so letting you know her birthday is a birthday that's going to meet one of the deadlines. And there was the mom, the introduction of the mom. Lisa, what did you think of her meeting talking to her mama in the cabin in the woods?
Well, first when she was every time she would call her mom and she would say your only daughter, like I actually went with my daughter to go see this movie, my oldest, and she said she had a theory. She had like 5 theories. And every time we were watching the movie, oh, no, theory off, new theory, because Eddie kept blasting everyone. But she was like, maybe the little girl in the beginning was her sister, and her mom never recovered mentally from losing her sister. Because before we saw the full combination of that scene, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. And she's saying your only daughter, so that's what was throwing me off. And I was like, oh, okay. And then her mom being a hoarder, crazy. I was like, it tracks. Her mom was off too. Her mom was, but I thought her mom was off because she lost child.
I like that. That would have actually been a dope element too, like a trauma type situation where she got triggered in that moment. Kind of fucked up to if you did have a sibling, they pass away, you like, yeah, the only kid. You're like, whoa, that's kind of fucked up. To remind me of that every time we talk. But I do think when I call people and they say hello, or when I call someone, or either when they call me and I say hello and they say hello back, like, motherfucker, say something different. I'm the one that answered. That's what you say. And then and that's something, speak on it or something like
Yeah.
Jazz. What did you think about about Harker's mother?
I definitely figured something was off with her. Lisa, like, I really like that theory. Kind of wish that was implemented. But now honestly, with the phone calls with her mother, my first watch, I was like, is she really having these conversations? Because they just seemed so like strange, like when she was talking to her mother when she was at her home, and when she had called her mother again when she got on the case. I was like, is she really having these calls, or is it just something triggering from the case? I wasn't exactly sure. I was like, is she really talking to her? But then, of course, it was, because her mom's like, are you saying your prayers? I'm a go. And then we come to find out, her mama was like, yeah, saying your prayers don't do shit anyway. Like, everything is terrible. And coming from a killer, it's just like, well, you don't say. But
I mean, so this is the first time we kind of see the elements of, well, not the first, this is the second time we see the element of how I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna ask y'all, was this a psychic ability? Chris, I know you said you think you cracked the code. Was this a psychic ability, or was there someone really in her house?
That I haven't made heads or tails of that. Like, even on my second watch, like, I really don't know. I'm not sure. If I'm thinking it, I don't think it would have been Longlegs. It would have had to been the mom. Well, it could have been the mom because she was talking to the mom, and I don't think that Longlegs would have came. So I really don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe y'all can shed light. I'm not sure.
Wait, you mean when they drop the package off, or the little
drop the decoder. Yeah, drop the decoder off at the house.
I actually think it was Longlegs.
Yeah,
because the way
you think his old ass is moving that fast?
Yeah.
Yes,
his old ass in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere. It's nighttime. There's woods. It's easy to fall back into the shadows, especially if you know where you're going. Like, I thought it was strange that she didn't call nobody. Like, she didn't call the police. She didn't call nobody.
She is the police.
She ain't tell nobody about that.
She was the biggest red herring of the movie. I was confused. I was like, this bitch did it. The whole time I said, she did this shit. That bitch did it. That's what I was saying. Because I was like, at first, her partner, I'm like, all right, so he's the first red herring. I'm like, he's too obvious to be the person, but I do think he the person. Bam. Nah, we already scratched him off the list. But then like I said, Lee, everything she was doing was just suspect as fuck.
Did she ever tell them that, like, she had the package dropped off?
No.
Yeah, because I thought she was moving kind of weird.
Well, no. Okay, so that one I kind of initially I was like, call somebody, and when she decoded the note and said, if you tell anyone how you figured this out, I will cut your mom's titties off, boobies.
Oh, is that what the note said?
Yeah.
I didn't have my glasses, so I couldn't see it. Everything was a blur.
You know what? Maybe because I have a pair. When someone throws to cut it off, I remember this.
It says, tell them how you got this, how it came into your head. I'll cut off her hanging milk tits and bleed your mommy dead.
Okay, that makes sense now why she didn't say anything.
Now, but okay. So the other thing about her moving weird in the movie, though, remember, she technically was under control too. Mm-hmm. She was under control too. Because I remember when her mom shot the little
dog.
dog
Yeah.
and the smoke, and then it disappeared. Which, by the way, the first time I saw that figure behind her, the shadow, and then disappeared, I was like, whoa, wait, did I just see what I saw? Like,
So that right there, so Jazz, that's what I was going to tell you before on my second watch. So when you were saying that her psychic powers seemed to come and go, when her mother was telling her the story, she said that the man downstairs could make her see what he wanted and not see what he wanted to. So I think that's why it comes and goes. So I think that her powers, I think that she was never really fully in control. And I think that's why it felt like they were like kind of picking and choosing where the powers came, just because like the stuff that he wanted her to see, he could see, and vice versa. So I think that's why it kind of seemed inconsistent. And I didn't catch that the first time. And I also didn't catch when her mother shot the doll, that the dust or the dust also came out of her. I didn't see that the first time.
Yeah. And I'll say, Chris, on my second watch of one of the quotes was, told her where to look and what to see.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And so, which that makes sense, because that was one of the biggest questions that I had from this, because I was just like, okay, it just seemed like her psychic abilities are not consistent. Like, I'm just like, we was seeing them shits drop in the first two acts, and then towards the third, you just like, so where did it go? Like, Longlegs was living in your mother's downstairs, chilling with all that nasty shit down there. Of course, the door was closed, but nothing alerted you. But with her being under control, and the entity is like, nah, these ain't the breadcrumbs that I want you to see. He's giving it to her. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But then I'm also curious as to why. I think that might be one of my biggest questions. Like, why did you leave these breadcrumbs for Lee? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, why did you want her to get to this point? Because you could have continued to do what you wanted to do to complete the triangle or whatever the fuck they was trying to do. But I guess, like, why?
I think the mama tried to break free of that, whatever the mind control or whatever it was. I think it was her versus him that was actually like trying to get her out of that trance or whatever that situation, because the entire time her whole motivation was protecting her daughter. Like, even though she was doing some very fucked up shit to protect her daughter, it's still, everything she was doing was still for her daughter. And I think she lost herself in what she was doing to fulfill this, because she knew it was real. Whatever he was doing was real, and she seen it. Like, it was, every time I'm like I said, and every time we say, I'm curious how he was putting these people's mental inside this doll, because even on that last girl, Blair's daughter, she was like entranced with this damn doll. Like, and I'm like, bro, why is she like that? And then she tried to shoot it to blow the head off to free her from it, but I wish they would have showed that she still had bullets and it just wouldn't allow her to shoot it. But it did. That's what I'm riding with. I don't care that they didn't show it. I'm riding with, she still has some bullets left, because she wasn't really shooting at people. And she should have had at least 6 shots. And I think she shot Carter twice. She shot her mama once. So she should have had at least 3 more shots, if I'm not mistaken. And that's kind of what I'm riding with in that. Like, she just wasn't able to free her. And that was kind of like the thing of him still working from beyond, wherever he went to.
Do y'all feel like the psychic abilities were helping her with the case?
They were. I think
so? I didn't think that.
It kind of put her in the path of her mama was involved with it. Because outside of that, how would she have known any of that? Like,
I think she figured it out kind of on her own a little bit.
Had she?
She was led the whole way.
You think so? You think she was led?
I feel like she was led the whole way. Like, I really do. I really do. And the thing is, it's so funny talking about her mother getting lost in it, because when her mother first started talking about the flashback, she's, like it was like a traumatic thing, and then you saw her getting more numb to the end when her mama says, "Hail that nigga."
Yeah.
It's like,
the reason why I didn't feel like it was necessarily the psychic abilities, because at least from what I gather, she cracked the code on her own. Now, if that was like the magic helping her, then I can't speak to that. But it felt like she cracked the code, and then from the code, she was able to. It was like one domino kind of fell, and she was able to put everything together because she was able to ascertain on her own, at least from what I gathered, that she was Longlegs had an accomplice. So I don't feel like it was the psychic abilities, but it's kind of hard to determine when the psychic abilities start and stop. Like, did they give her that ability to crack the code? So I don't know that. So I'm just going based off of like the film, because even like from there, I think that's when she was able to find out X marks the spot at the camera house, and then they found the doll, and everything kind of went from there. So I feel like she kind of like just might be, the psychic abilities probably help, but I think she also just might be really intuitive as well, I think. But I could be wrong though.
I think it's a little bit of. I think it's a little bit of both. They kind of talked about that when she was in the car, and they said you passed it 8 times. She was like, I failed 8, but you still passed 8 times.
Yeah.
People don't do that. So I do think it's a guide. Like I said, I don't, as far as like really understanding where, I don't, and it's, because I guess she had been doing it for like quite some time, where she can figure like things just come to her.
Yeah.
And like I said, the reason I say it's that is because when she figured out the dude was inside the house, like, did it help or did it not help? Like, to point where that thing is. So, like I said, we don't know if Longlegs actually came into her house. Like, it wasn't confirmed that he actually was in her house, or was it just her? Like, was it a psychic ability that put that in front of her? Because like, without that letter, yes, it did help decode, but I feel like if she would have been going through all of them, maybe she would have been able to do some decoding. But that letter being sent there, it was like, yeah, this is how you do it. And then just like, I feel like whatever traumatic situation happened, or whenever he created that doll for her, it kind of wiped her to a certain extent. Because there's the Lee, when she was a kid, because she was pretty open and meeting strangers and just doing weird shit already. She was already kind of doing some fucked up shit. Again, Black Mama, she wouldn't have been out there with that white man. She would have been in the house. And she would have got yelled at when she even stepped out there. Like, it wouldn't even gotten to that. And you see her mama was like, man, what the fuck you doing, bro? Like, get away from my child. And she called the police. And at that point, that's when he figured out how to control the mama. In that. And you kind of see how he played or prayed onto the mama at that point. Like, all right, so which became a bargaining chip for the daughter in that situation. And I guess I was gonna ask y'all, Jazz, what would you have done if you was the mama?
She went out there, had the shotgun before she even got close to him. I would have shot him, no questions asked. I'm not gonna ask you, why are you
just
on my property?
You going to jail, sister?
You are.
You on my property. That's trespassing. Because the thing
that don't mean you can shoot.
Hold on. Listen, you were on our property, because she even said at the end of the movie, we never had guests. Nobody ever came to our property. No family ever visited. So you have a man who you do not know, to where if you see a random dude right in front of your kid, somebody that looked just like Longlegs, y'all hesitation when it comes to the kids is kind of wild to me, because I just be like, I ain't trusting no random stranger. And so we see he was able to even get the gun off of her, because it could have been multiple people running around that house, and it's you and your daughter. So y'all can play the hesitation game, but like, nah, especially when we don't have nobody ever coming out here.
Jason, remind me, you're in Arkansas?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know how things go over there, but in Florida? Oh, no. We ain't going to jail. We about that life down here. Tell them we about that life down here.
I'm like, y'all over here trying to, excuse me, sir, what do you
The
need?
law is
Why
on
are
our
you
side.
by my kid? Like, them knees getting blown out or something. To where I can be like, okay, you are no longer a threat. Like, we watch too many movies, and there's too many things out there. You don't know somebody's intentions. And plus, you don't own a property. You're not at my front door. My kid is out here playing by themselves. No. I'll ask questions after I find out, like, oh, sorry, you're just trying to sell chocolate. My bad. Let me call the ambulance for you. But you should have came through the front door and not talking to my kid. I do not know you. Nah.
Yeah. I get it.
But Jason, I do want to go back to the scene where Lee went outside.
Uh-huh.
You saw somebody in the far distance.
Mm-hmm.
He had that long leg head. And long leg got a really distinct head, even in the dark. So, and when she was running around outside, she went back into the house, her door was open. And that's when you saw the letter. What psychic abilities is dropping off packages? Because I need them, so I ain't got to depend on Amazon no more. Like, but I think that's why, yeah, I think Longleg dropped that off. He was like, she outside. Let me go ahead and do my little thing. Boom, boom.
Yeah, it had to have been Longlegs. Now that we're talking about it, like it had to have been Longlegs.
It makes I ain't know psychic abilities did drop off. That's all I'm saying.
The reason I say psychic abilities is because she felt something, then she looked toward it, and then she's seen it out there. And then as she's going outside to get to it, it's no longer there. Now it's in the house, moving around through there. And like I said, it could be a person. I just don't see that old ass man moving that fast though. I don't care what, because he got to be 60, 70. He didn't look like he was in shape. He didn't look like in that at all. Him having these demonic abilities may have been something, but it was something in that motherfucker that had this shit going on. It wasn't just this nigga just he wasn't. You think he Ghostface? Like nigga just appearing in one spot. Nigga behind the tree to myself.
Jason,
gone. Now I'm in the house. Now I'm in the house. I'm out. Look at
just because he in all white, I could definitely see him doing that. Did you see him in the store, putting his hands up, doing all this weird shit? Like, come on. Yeah, I can see his old ass.
I'm thinking about him at the bus stop. That nigga look tired, defeated.
Yeah,
like he
oh
can't.
My God.
Like
since we here.
Yeah, go ahead, Jazz, because I had some issues with that too.
What you mean,
Jason?
What's the issue?
Me and Jazz was talking about that one-on-one.
Lisa, let me ask you, because obviously I know how Chris feels. Jason obviously don't feel the same. When you cut to the scene with Longleg at the bus stop with his clothes and shit, and then you hear the police from a distance. Now, nobody else is around. He is in the middle of nowhere. How did police get to him so fast? And it's not like one cop stumbled upon him.
Yeah.
You had the entire force as if you knew he was going to be there.
They didn't. Did they come from both sides?
Yeah, both sides. Both sides. It was a
sandwich.
Almost like a trap. They knew exactly what he was.
Like, when I heard the sirens, I thought it was going to be a fake out. Like, I thought they were going to drive right past him. You know, like, that would have been good. Like, yeah. That's why I thought, you know what? You're right, Jazz. I should have helped write this movie. Listen, the thing is, I'm joking. No, because I thought that's what you were getting. And then they pull up. I'm like, oh, but how did they know that he'd be right there?
And also, how were they even able to identify him? They had a photograph, but you don't know where he's at. You don't know who he is. I think that's just bad editing. I feel like they maybe I
think he was out. He was out in the town. That nigga was out.
Exactly where he is.
He was active.
But Jason, if he's that active, hold on, Jason. If he's that active and you got all these killings that are going on, why was he questioned before?
Now they didn't know. Now that part they didn't know. They didn't. The first inkling they had of anything was randomly this girl that's on the case who could just figure shit out allegedly in different places. Now you got a picture of this nigga in your house the entire time. Like this nigga was at your house and you was a baby. Like, hey y'all, like, is this your daddy? Like, what's going on?
Plot twist. But if they would have caught him at that convenience store that he went to, that would have made sense. Because the girl could have been the one to identify him when they posted that picture. That would have been a way to go back. But for them to just find him at a random bus stop made absolutely no sense.
Every horror movie has like one stupid thing, and that's like the dumb thing. You kind of got to suspend your disbelief.
I'm gonna give that to you because I think there could have been a better way to explain how they knew he was there. I just have. I'm like I said, I can assume or I can make up. Hey, he had left her house. That was the only bus stop in this small ass town. I don't know. It could be. It could be the only one. If you in these little shotgun ass towns where it's one person in, one person out, shit, that's the only bus stop. The motherfucker at the end of the road.
But he had a car.
He didn't have. Why was he at the bus stop being Jazz? What the car?
He did have a
He
car.
was in a
He did have a car.
car.
No, he did
Not
have a car.
not at the bus stop. He wasn't.
He did.
No, but he did have one on the car though.
He had a car. The car was up in the garage with the tarp over it.
But he lived there.
He lived, but I'm saying at the bus stop, he didn't have a car. He walked to that motherfucker.
But he had a car earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
What point are you making with the car part? What are you saying? I guess.
Why the fuck you at the bus stop if you already had a car?
Oh, because I mean, y'all said did y'all allude to y'all was saying he was turning her psychic ability on and off?
No, I don't think it was so much on and off. I think it was just like what he wanted her to see, he was letting, and the things that I guess he didn't want her to see, he didn't. So I guess it was manipulation. I
feel like he wanted to be caught. That's what I feel like he wanted to be caught and he wanted to kill himself in front of her. Like, this is the end of it.
But Jason, this is my thing though. So if you look at the death certificates, he wasn't just killing in Washington State. He was killing in Oregon. So conceivably, he could have been anywhere in Washington State or another state. How did you know he was going to be in this one town at this exact moment?
Yeah, no, yeah, probably.
You know what I'm saying? So it don't make sense. And this is the thing though. If I tell you, hey, if I show you a picture and I'm like, yo, this guy is killing people, I don't know where he is. Yeah, I don't know where he is.
Hey, they knew but then again, we say that. Okay, so we say that. Like, so Lee didn't know where that nigga was. The town probably knew where he was at.
They don't know who he is.
They know this pale ass white Bob Dylan looking motherfucker is. Yes, they do know who this nigga is because she said, hey, that weird nigga up here again, Dad. Like,
man, Jason, you give. I like this movie, but you giving this scene a lot.
I'm not. I'm
giving this scene a lot.
No. Well, I'm not saying. I'm just trying to make it make sense as much as it can.
It don't make sense. It don't make sense.
All of these things happen at one time.
Did it bother y'all that like her cabin, her house had just open windows all around? Did it piss y'all off?
In the middle of nowhere.
It would creep me out. For sure.
I wouldn't live there.
Yeah, I wouldn't live there. That would be too creepy. I need something closed. Like I'll be scared. I ain't gonna hold you. In the woods. I would just always feel like there's like somebody like watching me and I don't know they're watching me.
Bro, you got the windows open, lights on. You can't even see out the door. You can't even see out the windows at that point.
But she's a little off, so I kind of expect that from her. And like her being away from people, you know? So I kind of like, I'm not surprised that she's in the middle of nowhere, but the windows, that's kind of like, I lived on I had an apartment on the first floor once, and I always had to keep the blinds closed. Like leaving it open, it was just too creepy. Even in broad daylight, it just felt weird.
But of course he gets caught. We're gonna blame Lee's psychic abilities. No, she told.
That's bad writing. That's bad.
He told her where she was at. I'm at the bus stop. I'm at the bus stop right by the house. I'm at the bus stop right by the house, right up the street. You remember that one? You remember the bus stop? So he gets interrogated. Jazz, what did you think about this interrogation scene? Well, before we even get there, Lee she met Carrie Ann. She was the other person that survived this moment, which we find out later, you know, she does commit suicide. What do you think about the scene when she met Carrie Ann Camera, which is a weird ass name?
Yeah, it is.
So I didn't realize until after I saw this, that's the same young lady that was in
Sabrina?
No.
Totally Killer?
Yes.
Yeah. She looked totally different. Yeah.
Right, because I think it's because of the hair.
Yeah.
Because her hair was like short in this a lot. But this scene was like really creepy because I wasn't exactly sure. I was like, okay, so where is this going? Because we see what happened to her family. Shout out to her for not being home. Stay in school, kids. You won't get fucked up. Your parents might. And the pastor. And the black pastor too. I said, well, damn.
Hey, man,
he probably was the only one around. You couldn't. Never mind. But that scene was really creepy because that whole flashback and seeing it and her mom looking at the doll. And I'm just like, okay, obviously the doll is going to be a key element in this. The parents killing it. Pastor dead. Then the dad's like, oh, let me go ahead and take my wife out too. Fuck her up. I will say I love the level of violence in this movie, but Carrie Ann's character, when she said, I'll do whatever he say. I'll jump on you right now and strangle you till you ain't got no more breath. If that's what he want me to do. Can you imagine sitting beside somebody talking to you like that? Because I just feel like you just got to fight them.
Yeah.
Hey,
and you better win.
I didn't peep this, but on the second watch, like when she was saying that the scene, I thought she was just a crazy woman when she said that you came by my house once. I've seen you before. I didn't realize she was talking about her mom. Like, but the second time around, I was like, oh, that's why she recognized her, because she probably looked like the younger version of her mom, probably looks like her today. So, like, just rewatching it, there was like a ton of breadcrumbs that's like letting you know that the mom was involved.
But did Carrie Ann see her mom though? Because she was in school. So, like, did she see the doll?
She would have had to be there though.
She mentioned, well, she said that you came by my house before. So I don't think she was there at the time. I don't think she was there at the time, but maybe her mom had came before. But she did mention that you came by my house. So I thought she meant the mother. That's what I was thinking.
I thought they'd be sharing visions. The devil just be like, let me go ahead and send this email to all of them.
I thought she was just talking crazy.
You look like that, Jason.
Not saying got a email chain.
You know the devil got a damn DM. Group chat probably be going crazy.
Send that to everybody. Let me send that to everybody.
You know what? But email chains, that would make sense if that was like the devil, because them things are annoying as heck. So question, because when she says I do what he tells me to do, when she said that, I thought about the beginning when she told her the agent he got shot, and she went up to the guy and he was sitting there. He wasn't trying to hurt her. He wasn't trying to fight her. And I'm like, I wonder if he was given instructions like, do not touch my chosen one, basically, type of thing.
I thought that was weird that he didn't react, that he goes from shooting one agent but not even trying to shoot the other. So I thought that was very odd. I didn't get that either. And like he just like put the gun down and like he just complied. So that was a little odd to me as well.
I mean,
interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've seen movies like that where they kill one person and they just lay it down. Like, I just had to either. It was like a point to prove, or they had to kill that one person, in that. But like she didn't shoot him. I mean, I would have shot his ass after because at this point, Jazz. Unlike Longlegs, when you see him out in front of your yard, this nigga shooting people. You can shoot him, like no questions. Like bust his ass, bust his head, shoot his shit. But yeah, what was I getting? Oh yeah, so the interrogation room, Jazz. What do you think about this interrogation room scene?
They probably told Nicolas Cage, all right, so we just need you to act a fucking fool. Read these 3 lines. It's all on you. And I'm not gonna lie, he did a great job.
He did.
Like,
my nose hurts when I think about that interrogation scene.
That was excellent.
Me personally, I cringe when I see characters in movies or TV shows that hit themselves, like hit the table consistently. It happened in Hereditary.
Oh, and that was real.
And, yeah, he broke his nose.
Yeah,
for that.
Real life. Yeah.
But seeing it here, and Nicolas Cage is going in and in, like he's spitting out teeth. And Lee, when he did it the first time, sis, stop him, because he's not going to just do it once. You sitting there taking too long to react. In my opinion, I feel like she could have been able to prevent him from killing himself for real.
So Jazz, I think when I text you, this is when like I thought she should be on desk duty, that she couldn't handle it because she sat there. He hit his head at least 4 times, and she did not move at all. And like she didn't, she just panicked.
Did you hear her cry out for help? Help! You're the police.
Yeah, I know.
Nah, I wouldn't hear shit. I see a nigga busting his head all the time. I'm gonna let him watch him too. I'm like, oh no, I'm not getting involved with this crazy motherfucker. Clearly, he don't care about himself. What he gonna do to me?
But he's also handcuffed. So I'm at least moving.
Yeah, exactly.
If Jazz he headbutt you, he gonna be in trouble.
How is he headbutting me if he's sitting down handcuffed to that chair?
Yeah.
If that's the case, I also need to be at the fucking desk because no.
So Jazz, walk me through this scene. You sit
I
at the table across the room. He busts his head across the table. What are you doing?
I'm moving that table. I'm be like, oh, let me try to push this aside or go around and push his ass on the ground to where he's on the floor.
You just
chair.
grab him.
Kick the chair down.
All you got to do.
That's all you got to do till the other agents come in.
He gonna slam his head across.
You'll be all right. I mean, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be all right. Well,
it'll be harder. It'll be harder.
Yeah, he won't be able to
grab
kill
him from
himself.
behind. You just grab him from behind. He gonna squirm and stuff, but all you gotta do is just hold on for 5 to 10 seconds. Other people coming in.
Y'all heroic as hell out here. I'm gonna let this nigga go. He gotta go.
Jason, that's why you need to be at a desk.
I'm not gonna be a cop. I'm not gonna be nowhere near a thing where I gotta, when it comes to controlling people with my hands, like, no, I'm not doing it.
And plus you also know that they needed to speak to him because he has an accomplice. It's not over. So we need to get the information from him. So am I gonna watch him bang his head into the table 4 to 5 times? And I'm like, oh, now he did. Now how are we supposed to find his accomplice? There's going to be somebody whose birthday coming up that's about to die. Oh, shit, my birthday is coming up. They already know who I am. So I was like, let me try to save the life of the person who can possibly give me this information.
Exactly. Lisa, one thing, I know you mentioned that Nicolas Cage was unrecognizable, and this is like the first scene to where like he became Nicolas Cage, and I completely agree. Like early on, like he almost looked a little feminine a little bit with the long hair and just like, I don't know, the gangly appearance. But I feel like when there was like just the monologue he was giving, I'm like, okay, this is Nicolas Cage. But I thought this was excellent. Like the acting, I was like, wow, this is like really creepy. Like he was acting for real.
Yeah.
Speaking of, so Nick I don't know if he really went away, but I think maybe the big screen went away from Nick. So like seeing him now on the smaller screen, like where he's actually doing his acting, because at one point people said he couldn't act. I don't know how I feel about it, but I want to ask y'all, what is y'all favorite Nick Cage movie or movies? If y'all have them. Lisa, I'm gonna start with you.
I'm gonna go with National Treasure, Con Air, and Face Off.
Solid. Jazz, what about you?
I am going to also say Face Off. Loved it. And I'm gonna say 8mm.
Ooh, I was thinking about putting on a list. That was good. That's one of the good.
Chris, what about you, Chris?
So first off, I'm one of those people who have questioned his acting ability. I'm honest. I'm one of those people. I'm not gonna lie. 10 years ago, I would have been like, I don't see it. I don't see it. Lisa, you looking at me crazy? I'm sorry. I'm honest, if nothing else.
So you don't have a favorite movie from Nick
No,
Cage?
I do. No, National Treasure. I like National Treasure.
National Treasure. National Treasure. I think I got National Treasure up there, and damn, I didn't write it down, but I just had it at the tip of my tongue. I'm gonna say Kick Ass. I like them in Kick Ass.
Oh, that's a good one.
I forgot about that film.
Yeah, real solid.
All right.
What you gonna say?
No, I'm not talking about the Chris. What's
up? No, it's all. Listen, what's up?
All right. So I think that you are confusing him being in bad movies and being a bad actor, because he loves acting a lot. He loves it so much. He'll be in anything. And when he also was trying to evade tax issues and had to pay that money, that's why you saw him in a bunch of like, yo, what you doing, dog? What you doing, dog? But there is so many good gems that he's been in, that he's showcased his abilities, that I'm like, oh no, he's a good actor. But good actors can get bad scripts and they can get bad movies. Now, I will tell you, The Wicker Man, the bees. I'll give you that one. That one's wild.
I would say like I don't tether their actor's performance to like the film, because even Mia Goth, I thought she was great in Infinity Pool, but I thought that movie was pretty bad. So I can go down the list of movies to where like I didn't necessarily care for the movie, because I don't think acting necessarily like makes or breaks the movie. There are a lot of horror movies that I love where the acting isn't great. Or I shouldn't say always love, but now I don't know. Nicolas Cage had this little stretch from like the mid 2000s to the 2010s to where like he had like this same, like it was Nicolas Cage. He was kind of being the same character, and he kind of had like this like almost like deadpan type style that really wasn't for me. And also, to be fair, he has like a ton of credits, and I have not seen all of them. Like that man works. So how some people say that Denzel is the same person in movies, that's kind of how I felt about Nicolas Cage in some of the films. But to be fair, I probably need to watch like more of his catalog to really see. But from what I've seen, he just kind of it just felt like, okay, that's Nicolas Cage, not necessarily the character. I didn't feel like he was necessarily acting per se, or he was pulling like a Michelle Rodriguez, where she's the same character.
Did you watch that? Did you watch that Dream movie he was in?
Dream movie.
Dream Scenario.
Dream Scenario. Did you watch that, Chris?
I can't say that I did. It may be like if you described it, maybe, but at that time
it dropped. Was it dropped this year, right, Lisa?
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't see it this year. Then not.
Yeah, it's it's I don't even that movie fucking wild. I don't even know how to explain that dumbass shit.
It was something else.
It made me think of that movie with Joaquin Phoenix.
Boy Was Afraid.
The Boy Was Afraid. Bo Was Afraid. Yeah, that movie. What the fuck? Them two movies there crazy.
I missed that one.
You should, Lisa. If you get 3 hours.
That's why I haven't watched it.
If you get 3 hours, watch Bo Is Afraid. That movie is fucking insane from minute 1 to the last fucking minute in what it was. Which that movie is about a guy whose mother passes away and he has to deal with the trauma of burying her. And I say that to say the character Longlegs two-part. One was written about the director writer's mother, and that's what Nick Cage used as motivation. He used his own mother, so he said he wanted to kind of talk like her, act like her.
Oh my god!
And kind of look like her to an extent. He said he didn't want to look like himself in the character, so yeah, his mom was the motivation for Longlegs.
Is his mom still alive? Because I don't know. That's a good.
Legacy. He said outside the satanic thing, he said everything else and how she talk and how she deals with things.
That's kind of why I figured. I didn't think it was.
Well, I wasn't even thinking the satanic thing. I'm just thinking even Longlegs was kind of. It's a weird guy, even from the satanic thing.
Yeah, it was super weird when he was singing. That one scene. What? Okay, so let me ask y'all this: what was this movie scary? Let me ask that. Jazz, I'm gonna ask you first.
I'm going to say no. It wasn't scary to me, but I will say how the cinematography was. It had me like at the edge of the seats, like. Something is going to happen. The way that you had so many shots of them having the camera down a hallway that was dark and it was sitting there for a couple of seconds. So you like, is something going to show up? Is something moving? Am I looking for something? And it's nothing. But I feel like that's what they want you as a viewer to feel like something is coming. But as in scary, no, I'm not going to give it that.
What was the last scary movie you seen, Jazz?
I got to go back. We'll circle back. Let me think about it.
Lisa, what's this movie scared of you?
No, it was unnerving. There were a couple parts that unsettled me, especially when I saw the shadowy figure. Like once I saw him behind her, I think in the interview process, once I saw it there, my eyes, anytime there was dark, would immediately be looking for it, and it kept showing up. It kept showing up, and that was wild. So unnerving, unsettling, but not scary.
What was the last scary movie you seen?
Hold on. That's a good question. You gotta come back to me because
I have a new question. Chris, what about you? Is this movie scary for you?
I think unsettling is the perfect word. I think the concept is scary. But the actual movie itself, I don't think the only thing that I think that made me jump was the opening not even like with the gunshot, but to when like the way they shot it to where like he is about to say his name but then doesn't and it like jumps, like that was kind of like tense, but I guess like unsettling. And I can think of two movies recently that I saw that scared me. I can't remember which one, but which one I saw first, but there was this movie called Horror in the High Desert. But it's based on a true story and it plays like a real documentary. And then this other movie, which actually is a documentary, it's called The Demon House. And there's actually going to be like, I think there's going to be a movie, like an actual movie about it. But this is technically a documentary, but it's about it's called The Demon House. And it's about a demonic possession. I'm not going to say it's a true story, but people say it's true. And it was in Gary, Indiana. And it happened within the last 10 years. It's this black family, and it's documented. And like, but the documentary just does like a really good job of like just kind of inducing fear. And I don't know if it's because it's a black family, but it really kind of spooked me out. And the fact that I think it actually happened because like they were going to like CPS had gotten involved at one point because like they were getting. Well, I'm not gonna go down the whole rabbit hole, but that movie is what scared me, The Demon House.
Ooh.
Okay.
Quiet
Okay,
Place
so
Day One.
You said what?
A
Quiet
Quiet
Place.
Place Day.
Wait,
One.
Quiet Place Day One did what?
The one that just came out.
With Lupita.
Yeah.
They did what?
Oh, well, there were jump scares. Jump scares.
Okay, but you
But
weren't scared. It was just like jump. I don't consider jump scares scary. I think that they're more so played.
Okay, so the last thing that scared me. Okay,
Where you
now.
was like, when you was like actually sitting there thinking, like, man, hold on, if I could finish this movie, like,
Jason, what was the last scary movie that you saw?
like last one that actually scared me.
The Lighthouse?
Either the lighthouse or Hereditary. I think them are the last two.
Interesting. Okay.
Truly,
Okay.
because
Artsy horror.
because for me when I watch them, I watch scary movies a little bit different when I do it at the house versus in the movies. So like, like it has to be dark. Like I can't watch it when it's like once I finish it, I want it to look the same exact way it did in this movie. Like it needs to be like dark. Like I want to be in this element of I don't know or whatever, or like you hear these the house making these little creaking sounds or whatever may be happening when I watch it. So I want to kind of like be in that element of that when I'm watching a horror movie. Because if I'm just watching in the bed, I'm not really like if I'm watching this light outside, I'm not really in this movie at this point. It's just like I don't feel it, and I'm not feeling it. And I guess I was going to say, I don't think these movies are really what people say scary. I guess when you were a kid, you have like I have a crazy imagination now, but as a kid, the imagination is some certain things you just don't know. So like I mean, and it may be when I watch this, it may think some of these things somebody believes in. I'm pretty sure somebody watching Longlegs, they believe in everything they seen in Longlegs or in these scary movies, and certain stuff I just don't believe in or I don't prescribe to. So it doesn't bother me when I'm watching. It's just like, ah, shit, that's just a movie. I can go about my day once I get done with this. Some people like, bruh, like they need to watch something funny right after. I don't dream when I get like when I'm done, like when I sleep, I don't dream. Every now and again, it's like one or two a year if I do, or a dream that I can remember. Let me say that people say you dream, you just don't know, but like whatever. But like I said, certain things just that doesn't bother me like that. So that unnerving, the unsettling thing, I guess, is more so what I go to a movie for. Like, damn, that's kind of fun. So when you like watching, you just like, man, what's for to happen? Or how are they using these musical cues? How are they using these different camera tricks or things like that? It's like, man, I can see, like it is to a certain extent, but like yeah, that's how I feel about if it's scary, not scary, or whatever.
I feel that. I guess one last thing, Jason and Lisa, have y'all seen the second season of them? I know Jazz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That kind of scared me. I ain't gonna lie. I don't
Oh,
yeah, it was spooky.
Yeah, I'm gonna
that's
say
like
that.
little, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of scared me. Luke James
scared me.
was fucking in his bag.
Holy shit, yo.
Yeah, like the character, like him with the red hair, that was like that kind of
Oh
spooked
my
me out.
god.
Yeah.
Raggedy Ann, Andy, and the.
Yeah,
I thought that'll get my vote. Probably the last thing that scared me because I was just like, oh, y'all fucking people up in this.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. That was like the I think when I finished that, like I was home alone and like it was dark and I got a little. I ain't gonna lie, I got a little spooked out. Like I was looking in the closet and I'm like, hold on now, I feel like a kid again. Like I don't know, maybe it's something about black people in horror because Candyman as a kid scared the shit out of me too. So
Ooh.
I don't know. I think.
I'm sorry to cut you
Go
off,
ahead,
Chris.
go
Have
ahead.
y'all seen the Netflix movie? This came out in 2020. His House?
I've seen that.
Yes. Yes.
I haven't
That
watched it.
scared me.
Yes. Yes, that was scary too.
They got
House.
Ruby in it.
Yes,
I never watched it. I need
It's
to
a good
watch
film.
that. I need to peep
it
that.
is. So that also, I'll piggyback off what you said, Chris. Black horror, and so it's one of the things where it's just like we're seeing characters that look like us in certain situations, to where it's like, okay, we can relate with them a little bit, to where we can't just, oh, that's just a white woman and some shit. We can watch the movie, turn it off, and it ain't got nothing to do with me. But when you have black characters minding they black business and they getting these demons and shit, and you like, damn, that could be me. Hold on now.
Yeah.
Let me go sage. Let me
I
make sure
think
I'm in church on Sunday.
I think they just play villains really well because like Tony Todd, like that's an incredible characterization, and Luke James, like I think they just like play them really, really, really well. Black actors in general, but I just think that I think it's just the acting, and they just have a presence about them because Luke, man, and them, like it was just something really creepy and unsettling.
Oh my
Like he did a
God.
great job. Like it just really made me uncomfortable. So yeah, make more black villains.
You know what was wild about him is like when he like how the actor like adjusted his posture.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? In the beginning, he's like nerd, and and then in the end, like he's kind of this hulking figure. I'm like,
yeah,
they take a break, and then they had to gym 3 months. What happened? Like, how did it? Where did these muscles come from? Where did this bit? Like, how? Like, it was so good.
yeah,
It was so good.
yeah.
When he pulled that knife on girl, on sis, and she like, stop playing. What you mean? Yo, I would have ran out the house. And with him just starting to laugh out of nowhere, man, no, I'm about to take you off the list. We don't need to hire you for nothing.
He did that dumbass shit at Chuck E. Cheese too. That nigga was wilding with that little knife, bro. He had some power. Yo,
that twist when you find out who they are, who their parents were.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's honestly that shit. I give that like a 9 out of 10.
That might be the one. It's one of the top series of the year for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty fire. My only issue is that like the white dad was the villain, and that's the one person that got away scot-free.
Yeah,
like, he ain't like
killing all the white people. He was just killing twins just because though. So
he was just killing them.
Luke was fucked up, bro.
Just because they lived down the street, like so they had nothing to do with this.
My sister figured it out. You talking about convenience? Some convenience shit. Lee Harker versus Luke James' sister. As far as the way they figuring out these damn crimes and putting this shit together, shit.
Listen, when I watched the first season of them, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. They're never letting us get a second season of the show because of all they put in there. I'm like, there's no way we get a second season. So when I saw it advertised, I was like, what?
I ain't watched the first season. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I couldn't finish it. Not because
I can sit through it again. It got real.
Yeah.
I read about it when it dropped, and it was one line in there. I said, I'm not watching that. And this was in 2020. Of course, with everything that was going on, I was like, I don't need to watch any of that. But then when I watched season 2 with the callback to season 1, I said, fuck. All right, so I need to watch season 1 now so I can understand these callbacks. I didn't need to watch that shit. I was so mad that you don't need season 1, but it's maybe 1 or 2 things, but somebody could have just told me.
1 or 2 things. Yeah. There's one episode that like it's very heavy. And as a mother, it was a lot to take, I'll be honest. So on a lighter note, I laughed at a part when she was at Blair Underwood's house. After they were so because it made me laugh. I don't know why, because like they're let's go into the kitchen and cut the cake, and she goes, I'll be back, and
he said no
you won't.
But
that was funny. Blair Underwood was in his bag. Like, he was in his bag that last scene, because that made me laugh too. And like it wasn't meant to be funny, but it was like, the nigga was spitting.
But wait, are we sure? Because it seemed like it was meant to be funny. Because she was just like, oh, we'll be back. Ha. You won't. So like he just said it so
honestly, I think that's just amazing delivery because
there was two. I think there was two. I do think that was meant to be funny. But also the scene at the because this movie they didn't really have too many funny parts in it, and I think that was on purpose to keep you. But they did have the one when they went to the hospital. And they seen the guy. He was like, "Yeah, it was somebody up in here." He was like, "He said she's been quiet for like ever," and then like it just flipped. Just like after like 2 days ago, somebody came and visited her. He was like, "Who?" I don't know. He said, "Do y'all keep a log of it?" They're like, "Yeah." And me a log. He was like, he said, "Do y'all take IDs?" No, but that would be a good idea.
No, that was supposed to be funny too. Cause I'm sitting here like, my nigga, come on. But then
this is back in the day.
But then another thing is when Lee was talking to the daughter and Lee picked up the trophy. She said, "Where's the head?" She was like, "I don't know. It got chopped off. It's lost somewhere." She was like, "Well, I guess that's my job." To where it's like to investigate stuff like that.
Or to chop heads off. I'm telling you, bro, she was the red herring the whole damn movie, dog. The whole damn movie. Chris, what do you think about the backstory where we actually get the back telling of the mama and Longlegs?
Honestly, I think that was the best part of the film, actually, or my favorite part. I think it tied everything together. And I would say, like, I enjoyed this film, but I could see, I don't want to say boring. Boring is not the right word. And I don't necessarily want to say slow burn, but I could see someone say maybe thinking that the film was dry. That's not how I felt about it. But I could see someone like who wants like a bang bang shoot 'em up, maybe feeling that way. I enjoyed it, but to me, this was like to the film that like it became exciting or when I became fully invested. Because I feel like the mystery came together, and I feel like that was like probably the peak of the film, seeing that, because I think it gave some insight into the mom, why she is, and also Lee, because this whole film I'm like, okay, what's wrong with Lee? Something happened, and I feel like everything kind of got explained in a way, and I loved it. And I also have like a thing for like the 70s, so I like the shots that they use, the style. I don't know the actual name for the cinematography, but it seemed different from the rest of the film. But I loved it. That's just like the best part of the film for me.
Yeah. Jazz, what did you think about that? The backstory that we got within this.
I also definitely enjoyed it. I won't say it was my favorite part of it, but it wrapped up a lot of things and answered a lot of questions for me.
What was your favorite?
Oh no, you're fine. I would probably say, I kind of want to say probably the interrogation scene with them two coming together. But and the second one of course is the little girl's birthday party. Probably
Lisa,
shouldn't be a favorite thing, but
what about you, Lisa? What did you think of not the interrogation scene, but the backstory?
Oh no, I liked it. I liked how they did it. The so technically exposition, right? But through pictures, that's fine, especially when you've been giving me a little bit at a time. I have just enough information. I'm like, how does this connect here, 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 here? And then you give it to me. That's when it's cool to give me like the exposition, I uh I know, Jason, you hate exposition dumps or whatever. From what I heard from the Wolverine Deadpool podcast.
I don't. It's just. I just. It's. I mean. So, have you seen Scream 5?
Yes.
So when she was telling her daughter, not her daughter, she was telling her sister about the mom and the relationship that she had and who her dad was. Like, that was horrible. Like, why are you telling me this? Like, show me. I'd much rather you show it, don't tell me, type person. So like certain things is just like it doesn't have to. But I was gonna ask Lisa, did you watch The Acolyte?
The show? No.
Yeah.
I'm not really big into like the Star Wars shows like that. I liked the movie. I was okay with the movies. The Force Awakens, I was like, oh, why are we doing this?
It goes downhill after that.
Yes.
So my actual question, since you haven't seen it, at least it's kind of I'm trying to think of a thing, but I think that makes a lot more sense. Jazz, and Chris. So episode 7 and episode 3 of The Acolyte, it's a telling of a story and it's a retelling from different perspectives. Where you get the history of why we are here today. Who do you think did a better job telling the backstory of the actual story? The Acolyte or Longlegs?
Oh, Longlegs. But I did like Acolyte though. Oh, you talking about when they were at the coven and everything led up to that? Yeah, I'm gonna say Longlegs, but also I like Longlegs better than Acolyte. But actually, I enjoyed the scene in the coven. And I'm kind of with you. I typically, kind of iffy on flashbacks, but I feel like having the entire episode dedicated to the flashback made the Acolyte that it worked for me. But I'm gonna give the edge to Longlegs though.
I'm gonna say the Acolyte, but I think it's an unfair comparison.
Why?
Because
the nerds don't like episode 3 and 7. By the way, like them two, the episode, the flashback, they hated those episodes. But why do you feel that way, Jazz? I'm curious.
I can't really go off the nerds because don't nobody barely be listening to them. They don't get outside much, and they don't close the app enough, in my opinion. But it is what it is. I mean, I guess you got. I don't know this, and this might just be completely wrong because I'm just going off of what I somewhat remember because I haven't seen Acolyte in a couple of weeks, and of course, Longleg is fresh. But you were able to explain more because the Acolyte also was able to leave you breadcrumbs. And so those flashbacks were able to fill in those voids that you did not know. So once you saw them, you're like, okay, now that makes sense why they treated this person this way and all of those things. And so it just, you got a lot more explaining with the Acolyte with those flashbacks in those 2 episodes, which is probably about an hour and a half. Her mom explaining, she had to wrap that up in about 10 minutes.
Well,
so it's probably...
Oh, my bad, Jazz. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say you got more. I was able to get more, but I personally enjoy both.
I was just going to say, I think the Acolyte had to explain more because that's like the basis of the show. Like the show couldn't move forward by leaving us hanging. Like I feel like Longlegs could have left a little bit out, for the mystery, but with the Acolyte, they kind of had to explain like Osha's character. Or like Osha and May, like if they didn't explain that, we're not going to know why they moving the way they did. So that's why I feel like the Acolyte kind of had to do that.
I mean, Longleg kind of left some stuff hanging. How was he even able to get you hogtied in your house and you had a gun on him?
So I think that when he started talking to, because didn't he mention the gift from the church? Didn't he mention that?
Did he have a doll with him?
I think so. It would have made sense that he did because he's a doll maker, but I think at some point he unnerved her and he was able to manipulate her, like kind of talk her.
But where was the doll? I guess when he was talking to Lee when she was a kid outside.
Oh, it could have been. I mean, as far as that, I don't know like the logistics of it, but I just took that as like at some point he was able to like kind of unnerve her and get her because I think when he mentioned the gift from the church, that probably got her guard down. But she still did call the police. So, but he also could have came back too, though.
I mean, he said he was going to come back. He said
I was
going to keep coming back. Somebody tells you that looks like Longleg, you're going to say, oh, okay. The knees are gone.
No, I'm probably at that point. I'm shooting.
All in the snow is going to be red. You're not about to come back to my house. I might be asleep with my kid.
Wait, did he say that in the monologue when they first met?
Nah, they don't.
That's what I'm saying. No.
It's in the 3rd act where he tells her when she kind of singing when he says it as well.
That shit funny as fuck. When he starts singing, that shit was hilarious.
And then breaking out of the song out of nowhere. Chris, you really keeping him alive to come back till you deal with your family.
Well, hold on.
He said, "Let me in now, and it can be nice." Now me go now, and I have to come back not once, not twice, but many times as I like.
Who is dealing with that? Why are you?
Well, hold on. That's what he was saying that to the daughter, but then to the mom, that's when he started talking about the gift from the church, though. So he had a totally different. Hold on, am I misremembering that?
Yeah, he said that in front of the mom.
He said to the mama. He was like, "Let me in the house." He said, "Let me in now." I said, "This nigga is wilding."
That shit's so funny to me.
Somebody's singing, they're gonna break into your house. I'm killing you. Like, you're out
Okay,
of
yeah,
here.
never mind. Then never mind. I'm tripping there. I thought that he was saying that to the little girl. Then and she called the police, so I don't even know. Like, yeah, I can't explain
he did bring a dog to the house though. He did bring a dog to the house. And of course, you had to shoot it to free her from it.
So I have a question with the dolls and the brain. How were those getting made? Like, was Longleg making those? Like, how? Because even when they went to the coroner's office, when Agent Carter was like, "Can you just open it up?" He's like, "Ain't nothing in there." Like, where were they coming from?
But even him, he was weird because he was like,
He
"Oh
said,
my God, this doll is so beautifully crafted."
well, he also said, and for some reason I was hearing whispers of my wife's name, but I had been working too many hours. So it's just like it seemed like with him being in the presence of the doll and the brain, it was starting to kind of get in him a bit.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So, but then like the doll wasn't made for him. So it's just like, okay, the dolls don't discriminate. Longleg just makes it bring your guard down to make a creepy doll that looks like your kid. Why he ain't made no black dolls?
He did.
No black families.
He did. Well, he made one of, Agent Carter daughter.
We're not doing this. All right. Okay.
What you mean?
Yo,
I mean, she
was on that doll like crazy, like a thirsty ass nigga in the club. Like, yo, back up.
Where my hug ass nigga.
So I have a question for you guys. At the very end, when she's like trying to shoot, and nothing's happening, and she says fudger or whatever, right? Did she call him that? Because he had because she was now the eighth girl, because she was about to finish the job and kill the girl. Like, my thing is, when she was in there, she wasn't looking at the doll until that time. So maybe her not looking at it originally is why it didn't affect her right away, even though she just stood by letting Agent Carter escort his wife into the kitchen. Like, I was like, move.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought
I
that
was
up.
like,
I've been asking people that question.
What's that? What was the question?
Why would you let Agent Carter go in the kitchen and kill his wife? If people try to explain it to me, their explanation was not good. It was actually low-key trash. It was just like, oh, there was nothing she could do. You mean to tell me she couldn't shoot him in the leg to keep him from killing his wife? You knew what he was gonna go do, and you a cop.
There's no explanation. Like, that's why I say she's not a good agent. Because every time in the action, like, she fumbles under pressure because she has a gun. Like, you know what's about to happen. Like, why are you just letting this happen?
She's free now. She wasn't under any control.
Right.
There's no reason for her to let him go into that kitchen, and she just sat there. So yeah, I don't want to. Do you think that's bad writing?
I mean, the mama said it was gonna happen. She was already dead because I was curious because she had lost her voice at first, like she couldn't speak, and then she eventually gained it when he told her to come to the kitchen with him. I don't. Like I said, with that one, I'm not gonna say it was bad writing because it needed to happen, like for him to kill her and then come back out. Well, I wanted it to be more so in front of us, in my opinion. Like he should have just killed her right there.
Here's the thing. I don't necessarily think I don't think it was bad writing. When you think about the fact that, okay, perhaps she was wrestling with the idea of self-preservation. Her mother was telling her, this is what you have to do in order for you to live. It's what we have to do for you to survive. So maybe she was struggling with that, And again, my thing is at the very end, her saying, I know I said fudger, fucker, whatever it is, right? But like, I really want to know, did she say that because she knew she was about to be taken over and be the eighth girl and kill the little girl and finish it? Like, is she saying it because she's trying to kill it and the gun's not working because the forces are against her. Like that's where I have all these like questions. I don't think the standing still is bad writing. I think it's her wrestling. You know what I mean?
I like that explanation. That actually makes a lot more sense than like what I've been trying to figure out with that. I like that. But I've got a question for y'all though about that scene, because before the MO was to kill families of 4, but there was only 3 there. I know that Lee would have been the 4th, but she wasn't a part of the family. So why did the mom go there with just 3? Like, why did they break the trend?
Maybe Lee is the 4th. Maybe Lee is the 4th. You can't trust the devil. I nigga lie.
Yeah. No, that's true. I guess I was thinking that he just had like a thing. Well, but you know what though? Because like they went to he went to the girl, the daughter. She was supposed to be the 4th, but then she wasn't there and the pastor was there. But my thing is that it was only a family of 3. Because even with there, she just happened to be there, so he had a thing for family of 4. So I don't know why like they were chosen. That's why like I was surprised. That's why I didn't suspect them, because he said it was families of 4. And if it was like a sibling there, then I feel like it would have been a dead giveaway. But when it was just the 3, I was like, okay, even though it's this girl's birthday, she's probably safe because they're not a family of 4.
I think it was more of a things that reveal itself, and that's what they were doing more so. Like he was just like, all right, fuck it, we finna come out, reveal everything, and we just letting it play out. Because like I say that's how she was figuring out everything anyway, and that was just the closest thing to her, or closest person to her that had a kid that birthday was on the 14th. Because how the fuck was he find out all these kids' birthday was on the 14th?
I mean, he planned it. I'm sure if like you know who's living there, I'm sure like you can kind of like eventually put it together. I know this is pre-Google, but I'm guessing like if you figure out, the white page.
You think he was sitting around like that trying to figure out these niggas' birthdays? Like
what else he gotta do? He just down. I mean, all he do is make dolls. I'm sure if you do enough research, like you can figure it out. Once you identify, like you can figure it out.
Okay, but here's the thing. Remember what she said when they asked when Blair Underwood asked her how does it work, and she says, I can't really explain it. It's kind of like someone taps me on my shoulder and directs me. So I feel like we're especially if we're going on the supernatural element, we're giving Longlegs maybe too much credit. I think he was directed as well. That one.
What if it was God guiding her?
Well, it definitely wasn't God.
How you know?
I don't think God was in it.
God was in it.
How you know? I said God guiding Lee. It could have been.
God, if he was guiding Lee, well, she got old boy killed. Really?
Now look, it can't be perfect. Everything can't be perfect. Shit.
I mean, I feel that, but I'm just saying, old boy would have been alive without those psychic powers.
What you mean? What? How?
In the beginning, she identified the house. If she picked the wrong house, he alive.
I'm saying now, God guided her. Now he was supposed to wait. He just did. She told him to call for backup.
I'm gonna tell you why it's not God. They showed you it's not God because there was a shadow of the devil always over her shoulder here and there. That she wasn't being guided by God.
We don't know what God looked like. It could be he come in all forms.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
No, we ain't doing that shit. We not pulling the player. We not doing that. Players fucked up. Not that player.
It's not about players fuck up. I'm just saying God doesn't have to be one entity. Why are we assuming that it's one thing?
Jason, you think that was God directing her?
I don't know. I'm just saying it could be. Like I'm saying, as far as protecting what is it? Okay, well, let me ask you. What do you think it is that's protecting her or keeping her protected in these moments?
I don't think that she was really being protected per se.
She grew up. The rest of these bitches, I mean, these kids got killed.
Because she had to essentially sell her mom. Had to sell her soul.
They explain to you why.
Yeah,
her mom.
She had to choose crimson or clove. She made her choice, which was to murder these other people to keep her daughter alive.
Like, that's not of God, bro.
Like Jason, let me ask you: if the choice came to you, what are you choosing?
What's that? Between killing my daughter or what's it called? Killing
your
my
whole
kid
family out of here, or are you just gonna be a servant of the devil?
Oh man, I'm gonna try to kill this man.
That wasn't an option.
Oh, I'm not in them options then. What do you mean? I'm not serving the devil. I serve the Lord.
So that means y'all out of here then.
No,
So you doing what?
I'm gonna beat the odds, nigga. What you mean?
All right. So you picking? I'm not doing it, which is what those other families could have chosen. They was just like, nah, we're not gonna go be a servant of the devil. And it's like, all right, babe, you made your choice.
The other families ain't.
I'm just saying hypothetically, if Longleg gave them that same choice, we don't know. I'm just saying hypothetically.
It's implied that he did though, because he said that they all had a choice. When the interrogation room, it don't look like they had a choice, but he said that they all had a choice, and I can't remember how he phrased it, but he implied that he gave them a choice.
Right.
No, so but I don't think it was the family. I don't think that's what he was talking about. He was talking about she's the seventh one to be given the same gift to choose between Crimson and Clove.
Oh, see, I thought they were talking about the families.
Nah, I wasn't talking about them because he gives them the doll. He picks the family. He gives them the doll and she just has to see that they pretty much killed themselves.
Oh, okay. So he went to six other women.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
That's why Jason wants a prequel.
Okay, see, I missed that, and that also makes sense because I was wondering, like they're not a family of four. Like, why is he pulling up on them? You know, I thought I didn't really think too much about that, so that makes sense then. So, like, seeing the other, okay, I see what you're saying now.
And how you know the last family? Like, how you know 4 people didn't die? We saw 3 die.
Who are you talking about?
The very end of the movie.
Yeah.
Blair died. The wife died. Her mama died. That's 3. Yeah. She's still standing there with the gun. The little girl's still there. The circle is not complete.
Yeah, little girl was possessed.
You gotta shoot that damn dog head off.
She tried.
Yeah, that's it. What was your question, Jay?
Would y'all take that little girl? This is not my question, but it just came up. Like, I think I'll drop her off at a shelter somewhere.
Oh, yeah,
like,
she's going to a shelter.
Yeah, I'm not keeping it.
Yeah, I ain't keeping that one.
Why you call her that, nigga?
You say it?
Like as a dog, bro. So I ain't keeping that.
She was a little creepy, but no. My question was gonna be when Lee, before she got that package, she got a phone call, or she got a phone call in that scene. And then she got another phone call when she was at her mother's house when she woke up in Longlegs' bed. First off, bitch, why did you just put me in my bed, which is upstairs? Why you put her in Longlegs' bed? I just know them sheets ain't been clean in a minute. But anyway, who was calling her? Because at that ending scene, Longlegs was dead already. So was the spirit calling her? And if so, you mean to tell me the entity just getting on a landline?
Black phone.
Real quick. Oh,
black phone. I said that at the top of the episode.
You did.
So the entities they just be. No. I'm just gonna make sure I remind you that I said that already.
No. Who fucking called Jason?
One of them the 7 kid. Hey, you forgot about the girl's birthday. What you doing?
Wake up, nigga. Wake up. Sleeping on the job.
But I felt like when he died, his essence was still there. Because it wasn't Blair they called, right?
No, it wasn't Blair. I mean, we don't really know. It didn't sound like Longlegs. I don't know. I asked Jazz that same question. That's what we were talking about. I don't know who called. I have no idea. I don't know if it was the devil, but that wouldn't make sense then, because like, why would like a bad entity go there to stop it unless she was meant to be the 4th?
Maybe the 6th.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Maybe she is either the 8th one. Maybe she's there to kill, like, because they need a 4. Maybe she's there to close the circle, complete the whatever it was,
the little triangle.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then I even feel like the credits alone implied that she lost, because they were scrolling upside down,
like the devil.
Which I was like, is that meant to be an upside down cross? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm like, did she just turn and kill the girl? And we just don't see it.
It would have been an interesting thing where I feel like what if at the end, she succumbed to it herself, like she replaced her mom in that position. I think that would have been, dope to see. But I don't know. I don't know. I know, Chris, you had another question that you wanted to ask.
Yeah, the question I had, what do y'all think is the best era? Like, it can be a specific decade or just an era of horror.
Sorry about that, man.
It's
Job
all
shit.
good.
I already got my answer. I'll wait for y'all.
What was the first question that you asked?
No, it was just one. Just what do you think is the best decade or era of horror?
Decade of era. Decade or era
Yeah.
of horror. Hmm.
Lisa, who you got since you got your answer? Or what you got?
I took the time to really examine horror movies from the last like 4 or 5 decades, and then like and kind of narrowing it down to which decade had the most horror movies that I liked. Because there are some that I love that were over here, but they didn't have that many in that decade. So I had to kind of really bring it in. And I gotta give it to the 2000s. And I'm gonna tell you why. Jeepers Creepers, 20 Days Later, The Grudge, Dead Silence, Trick or Treat, Saw, The Others, The Mist, Cloverfield, What Lies Beneath, Skeleton Key, Jason, Orphan, Drag Me to Hell, Final Destination, Slither, Signs, 30 Days of Night.
Yeah, those some great. Those some heavy hits. I would say the 2000s aren't my pick, but they are a very underrated time. I think people have a fixation on the 90s. The 90s is the worst, by the way, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, the
Oh, that was
90s.
Scream and Star of Echoes.
Hey, bro, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, bro, 90s is the most overrated fucking decade
Yeah.
in ever.
Get the
Like
fuck out of here.
music, and
Get the
like,
fuck out of
it
here,
is.
Jason.
People,
Yeah, right. Yeah. Get to
there's
the reach.
there's a thing. No, it's
Sit
not.
down.
I'm gonna say the reason. There's things that come from these eras that people love and people bite off of. But outside of those things that they love and they bite off of, it's like outside of that, what else was it?
I'm kind of with Jason on that. Like, I ain't gonna say like I'm kind of walking with you. I think that it has like a aura that people like kind of fixate on, but like, nah, I ain't gonna just say the 90s was automatically the best, especially not for horror. And I feel like, nah, I wouldn't say for movies either. Like, I think the aesthetic appeals, but the
That's what
2000s,
it
yeah.
is.
I
That's
But
what
think
it
you
like,
guys are
is.
forgetting how much media we were in the 90s, how
true,
many good movies we had going, how many
true,
good like the good role models that we had.
true,
That
true.
like I mean, just Boomerang and
Yeah.
come on. So I feel like I think you guys are forgetting like all of these strong black shows.
Well, listen,
Okay,
I'll say this though.
movies. Like the thing is, I'm with you on like they were weak with horror movies.
Uh-huh.
Yes, okay, but to that blanket statement,
It's
nah.
wild.
And the colorful clothing, I'm sorry, I was a big lover of the colorful clothing. I love colors.
80s,
All the flash,
the
even
80s color,
visuals.
the
Even
80s colors
visuals
was
was tight.
better.
Huh?
The 80s colors were better. I feel like the 90s just took stuff from the 80s and they
The
flipped
90s
they made
definitely
it
did
something
not.
different. In
As
my
someone
opinion.
who was born in the 80s, the 90s definitely did not.
Lisa, I would say this though, in terms of like black TV, like it was the golden age, like black TV,
Yeah,
black movies, we were seeing a
yeah,
lot of representation. So in
yeah.
terms of that, but even with that though, like if I'm just looking from a black lens, absolutely. But like if we're talking about all TV, all movies, unfortunately, that's only like a fraction of it. Like I can't just like if I'm talking about the 90s, I'm including like the non-black stuff too.
So even in
But
this conversation, you're making us the minorities less important? All right,
No,
that's
no, it's
me.
not so much less important. It's just that like if there are like 30 movies, only 3 of them are gonna be black. You know what I'm saying? Like just so I'm looking at like all that as a whole. I'm taking all of it. But I do like the 90s. I'm not gonna say that like I'm not gonna say it's trash or anything, but I do think people kind of gas it a little bit.
I'm gonna say no because I'm gonna also throw in there. Shout out to Lisa who just recently had animated movies from the 90s. Excuse me, TV shows, which had
Oh,
some of the best TV shows created in the 90s that we grew up on. So,
thank
like, it's a lot of stuff the 90s was able to bring us.
you.
No sense, like, nobody, none of them are going to have their all perfect. But please put some respect on the 90s because Jason puts a lot of fucking hate on it, which I cannot stand. But we agree to disagree. It is what it is.
But
But yeah,
what, what's your favorite decade or era, Jazz?
I'm
Horror.
the 2000s was definitely gonna be mine as well. Lisa
Okay.
like listed a bunch of movies that I was gonna
Okay.
drop.
What about you, Jason?
Yeah, it's gonna be the 2000s for me.
Okay. For me.
The
Okay.
2000s. It's gonna be the 2000s for me as well. I was thinking about the 80s, but yeah, definitely the 2000s for sure.
See, for me, 2000s in that conversation, I'm gonna say the 2010s. And I'm gonna say
that's a good one. That's a great one as well. I feel like a lot of shit came out in from 2010 to 2020.
Yeah.
That was bomb.
And like specifically from like 2013, 2014 to today, it's been a great time. And I would say I would say that's era. I will also say like the 70s, I think is great. They just don't have the volume. Or maybe I just haven't seen enough, but I feel like the 80s, 90s is when like there's a lot more movies. But the 80s though, there's a lot of bad movies too. Like
80s had The Shining, Poltergeist, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, and Child's Play.
You had The Thing, Aliens. You had
Aliens was the 80s. I mean 70s, though, right?
Well, no. Alien was 70s. Yeah. Aliens.
Yeah.
80s.
You had Pumpkinhead. The 80s definitely had some heat, but like when you go deep in the crates in the 80s, like it's some stuff that like you kind of gotta like not suspend your disbelief, but you gotta like kind of know what you're getting into and kind of lean into like the camp and the cheese. It's mainly like the 80s cheese. Like I appreciate it, but like I feel like I could tell that they were definitely just going for like those VHS releases and like just playing into like the B movie. But I would say I would take 80s horror over 90s for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. Horror only. But yeah. And you know, here I will give you this, Chris, like Cabin in the Woods, which came out in the 2010s. I love that movie. It actually renewed my love for horror because I was starting to get a little stale on it, and then they kind of brought in that like meta movie, and I was like, "Yo, love it!" And then we got Get Out, you know, It Follows, Lights Out, then
It's funny you say that because like I would say Cabin in the Woods kind of did that to me too because up to that moment, that's when horror was getting a kind of trite. Like 2009, 2010, 2011, it was kind of like mainly late 2000s, 2010. Like I was like, it was kind of a dead time. And then Cabin in the Woods, what 2011, 2012, and then that's when like for me like you had Grave Encounters, you had like some of the films you mentioned, The Conjuring, The Babadook. You had
my god, The Babadook.
Woo! Oh yeah, The Babadook. Honestly, The Babadook. That's when like
it's Jasmine's favorite movie.
It's a good movie though.
It's not. It's not. We can agree to disagree. It's not. I think I hate that movie. I will. Me and Chris do this all the time. I will say, and you know I hate Hereditary. I will put Hereditary over The Babadook. I fucking hate that movie. I want that little boy to die at the beginning, middle, and end of that movie.
Is it the little boy or is it the movie?
Both. All of it. Don't turn
that shit on. The little boy is trash. It is trash. But for me, I would feel like The Babadook, like that is like a time. That's when horror kind of like turned the corner and like shit started to get really, really good for me personally. I didn't know you hated The Babadook like that. Damn.
Yeah,
that's
man. Damn. Yeah, we seen you Scream. We had a in-depth conversation, and she was like, "I just don't understand. Like this. That's the movie she picked."
I don't talk like that. The way that you had you had that stank face. I had to correct you. Look at
your face. Like literally look at your face now as you telling me you don't have a stank face.
I didn't say it like that.
You did. It was a message anyway. We weren't talking when we talked about it.
So that means you didn't see my face when I said it. So that stank face you just put on.
I gave one. That's how I read it. You read that's how it came off when I seen it. I think that was everything.
Well, there was one that you guys missed. Best comeback actor that took a hiatus and returned.
Yeah.
Oh yes. I was saying that because Nick kind of like that, and I was alluding to that, and I forgot to fucking ask the question the first time. Thank you, Lisa. But yes, Nick Cage was somebody. Like I said, he was prime time. Kind of went away. I'm not sure what was behind that. Of course, you got a big movie out now with my boy Josh Hartnett. He's been going crazy. He was a big 2000s. What?
Mm-hmm.
You trying to say Josh not going crazy right now?
No. Are you saying he got a big movie out? Like
Trap? Yeah.
It's a big movie.
It's a big movie. That movie, they put a lot behind that movie. Like that movie, there's been a lot of press behind it. But I'm also gonna say Josh himself, when he came, because he went away for like 10, 10, 15, I don't know how long it was, but when the early 2000s. Like he was in Faculty, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was his second.
Like that 90s 2000s, that was his shit. And he just disappeared. And I was like, what
He was
the
in
fuck
30 Days a Night.
Then nigga can't just pop back out of nowhere.
H2O?
Yep. Yeah, that was his very first movie. Yep.
What, H2O? Wait,
yeah,
that was 98. That was 98.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
he did right at the same time.
When was The Faculty?
98.
That movie.
Yeah. He did both same year.
I don't care about that. I enjoy that movie. It's a good time.
The Faculty, I love that.
Hey, Lisa, hey, we here because The Faculty, one of my favorite movies ever.
It's
I don't
so
care.
good.
I don't care what anyone says, and I kind of want a remake. Like I would like a remake set in the 2020s.
No,
but I'm not gonna lie, Chris. I wouldn't be mad.
Like a Gen Z version.
It, but I don't need it. We don't need it, but that could be fire.
We don't need it, but like I love that movie so much, and like I don't like teen horror. Is like that's like my guilty pleasure.
That nigga like teen horror movies.
I do. I don't know why. I'm a grown ass man, but I like.
Hey, have you guys watched the Fear Street series on Netflix? The big part.
Oh yeah,
they love it.
Oh yeah, that shit fire.
I used to read the books. R.L. Stein was my dude, so I was like, yeah.
1978. This is probably a hot take, but I think that's a classic slasher. 1978.
I think so.
Like I think like in terms of just like how it's done, like I mean I think it's. I mean I would say it's better than like some other ones that might be held in high regard.
Which one?
1978, the second one, the second Fear Street.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I could. Yeah. Okay.
I fuck with it. Yeah, I really enjoyed Fear Street.
Good. That was.
There's supposed to be. I don't know if it's a continuation. Well, it wouldn't be a continuation, but there's going to be another one, just to that universe.
They did such a good job. They did such a good job explaining why so many horrible things happened. They did such a freaking good job, yo.
I had a good time with it.
I had such a good time.
Yeah, the first two were fire. Like the third one was okay. I still had a good time with it, but yeah, the first 94 and 1978, like I really enjoyed those. Like, and I think that concept having them come out like 3 straight Fridays in the summer during COVID, like that was brilliant.
They're on my watch list because I know y'all told me that they're really good. I need to check them out.
I think so.
Yeah, you got to.
Just off the strength of like it's horror. Like I think you would. Yeah, you gotta watch it. Yeah.
I gotta check it out.
It's so good how it's done.
Did you watch Did you watch Totally Killer, Relisa?
Absolutely, yes. 3 times.
Which movies did it remind you of?
Oh my God, totally. Let's see. Well, first of all, let's talk about Scream, because the mask, the knife coming out of nowhere, like, and the fact that there was, spoiler alert, technically 2 killers, technically.
Oh yeah, there were. Yeah, there are.
So like that was a shock to me. Like that right there, I was like, whoa, wait, they just killed him. What? Like it was so good. I freaking love it. And
that was a good movie.
And the 80s, like, okay, I'm an 80s baby, obviously. So like when you bring in the 80s, you got my attention, and then you add in a good story with it, and you connect it to the
time travel.
I was not expecting that to be that good. I went in there with low expectations, and like, cause Jazz told me, it was like, yo, you need to watch this. I'm like, do I really? Yeah. I'm like, if you say so. And like, no shade to you, it was just like, it looked kind of goofy. But then when I watched it, like, yo, I had a great time with that movie. I had a great time.
I'm glad.
Yeah, that was a great recommendation.
Jason told me, because he said you're gonna love this because it has 2 things from your favorite franchises. And I'm just like, Jason on some bullshit. And he was right. 2 weeks in a row, I'm saying that, but I won't say it next week.
Wait, what's the other one? Because there's other movie that is clearly it bites off of. But what's the
Back to the Future?
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Wait, so who you guys picking for the comeback?
Comeback! I got Josh Hartnett in my list.
Okay,
Josh was on mine, but since you got Josh, I'm gonna say Brandon Fraser.
That's a solid one. That's a solid one.
He took okay.
Yeah.
All right. Since you said Brandon Fraser, I'm gonna have to go with RDJ. So.
Okay.
That's fucking That's a banger. That's a banger.
I was gonna go Brendan Fraser, and it's not technically a comeback, but I feel like he's getting the moment that his talent warrants. So I'm gonna say Coleman Domingo. Like I feel like he's been around for a while,
I get
and not
that.
really a comeback, but I feel like he's kind of like he's kind of almost that A-lister, or like he's getting really known.
He got that. It's like that 2 Chainz. Like I
Mm.
don't. It's like it's not.
Yeah.
I don't think he was. I don't think he was as big as Titty Boy was. I mean, but then he could have been somewhere. It just wasn't on my radar. So when I seen him, I think the first time I seen him, I was like, oh shit, this nigga can act. Was that special that him and Rue had? That was the first time I ever seen him. Like, and I was like, oh shit, this nigga, he got some talent. And then he's been blowing up ever since then. So it's dope to see. It's dope to see. That's good.
It really is.
Good. But of course, the reason that we are here. Was it good though? Jazz, I'm gonna start with you.
Yes. I enjoyed this film. It was a very good theater experience. I did have questions at the end. And I would say on my rewatch, I think Chris, when I spoke to you, I said I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. So on my rewatch, I'll bump it up to a 7. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Lisa, was it good though?
Yes, it was. I only got to watch it the one time, and I was in the theater like enjoying it, but also like blindly writing notes so I can remember, and then going home and trying to decipher what I wrote and typing it out.
Chris,
I'm gonna say it was very good. Yes.
Yeah. It's me as well. Definitely was good. Definitely enjoyed this film. So we're in August
Of the decade, though.
Say it again. The best of the decade.
Yeah, we gotta. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna be the last question I do ask. Okay. Not trying to keep y'all too long, you know. So one, what is y'all favorite movie of the year so far? Favorite horror movie of the year? Sorry, so far. Jazz?
Go ahead.
Why, don't come to me first. I was first last time. Pick somebody else.
Oh shit! I mean, you know, you look. What you been say, Chris?
Damn. If you would have asked me this question a week ago, I would have easily said this one.
What you see that? What did you see that has you questioning that now?
I would say Late Night with the Devil. Like now,
that movie pretty solid.
That's kind of fire. Like it's actually, you know.
Now when you say it's slow burn, that's more of a slow burn to me because I was like them first 15, 30, I'm like, man, they need to hurry the fuck up.
See, me, I had the opposite, dog.
When they got to it, they got to it. Now this here was from balls to the walls to the end, in my opinion. Yeah. Like from the beginning to the end, it was there. So you ride with Late Night with the Devil as your top this year.
I'm gonna stick with Longlegs because that's what I would have originally said. My only issue with Late Night with the Devil was the end. I think we had talked about that. Yeah. It was just the end was like kind of a little bit wonky. But I'm gonna say that this is number 1, but Late Night with the Devil is a strong number 2.
Got you. Lisa, did you figure out your best horror movie this year?
So is it too early to just assume it's going to be Alien and Romulus?
Yes. Yep. Because that's what my pick was going to be, but I was like, I ain't seen it yet. So, yep.
Yeah, but I feel like it's going to be Alien Romulus.
You're trying to go into the future.
I enjoyed this, but I just know this isn't going to be my pick for the decade, for the year. I just know it's not going to be. And the other movies that I've watched have not been scary. I didn't see Late Night with the Devil, but like the other movies that I watched, they're not scary to me. Abigail wasn't scary to me. It was funny. Sting wasn't scary to me. It was like entertaining, you know. So Sting.
That's a spider movie, right?
Yeah.
Never watching it. Never. I can't. Yeah. I have horrible arachnophobia. That movie would never be watched by Chris.
Oh.
Awesome.
So have you never seen the movie Arachnophobia either?
That's the reason why I'm scared of spiders.
The movie Arachnophobia?
Yeah, okay, so very quick story. So when I was 6, I was staying at this after school place on Halloween, and they played that movie for me.
No,
and I've been scared
didn't.
I swear to you, and I've been scared of spiders ever since.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I literally have PTSD. Like,
dang.
Yeah, so I can't do spiders.
Okay.
Okay. Jazz, you figure out your horror movie of the year? You said you going with Aliens?
Nah. Aliens ain't out yet, so I feel like I can't choose that. But I will say I'll go with Late Night with the Devil. Yeah.
I'm riding with Longlegs with that one. It did it more for me than Late Night. I enjoy Late Night with the Devil once you get to it, but you have to get to it for it to actually hit. So, last question of the decade. 10 years, now 2014. What movie are y'all picking as the movie of the decade, if y'all have to? Or could y'all say that? I know that's kind of crazy to say. Because I started thinking about I started going through stuff so I can throw some ideas out there if y'all don't know. Because I did. One. Okay, what you got?
I'm gonna say Talk to Me.
Oh yeah, that's a good ass movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna
that's
say
a good ass movie. Yeah, he might
Jazz,
be right.
Don't make that face. Be respectful.
That might be. She agree. She trying to see if she agree or not versus what she got.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Talk to Me and Get Out. All right, I think they up there.
Get Out was 2017, my brother.
That's within the last 10 years.
Oh, I thought you meant this decade.
Oh, I just meant like decade, like.
Oh, I thought you meant 2020s.
I said last 10 years, but you can.
That's a different question. That's a different answer then.
Oh, that's a different question.
Yeah, that's totally different then. Okay, if you meant for the last 10 years, I'm gonna say either Get Out or It Chapter 1. If you meant last 10 years, it's between those two. I think Get Out did more for horror, but It Chapter 1, that's a special movie. I'm gonna say It Chapter 1. Get Out's number 2.
I'm gonna copy Chris because It Chapter 1 was an amazing remake. And I know that we spoke on remakes earlier and how it's just like, if you're gonna make the same thing, why? But the way that they did it, because the original It was a series and it was rated PG.
A mini series, yes.
Yeah. And it is why I was scared of clowns. Yep. You didn't see him kill nobody. He was not that violent, but it's just something that Tim Curry brought to that character. And so with the remake, you saw everything rated R. And I watched it recently. It doesn't scare me as much, but I just said, he was killing so many kids. Amazing remake. Probably one of the best ones. So I'm gonna say Get Out was my number 1. It Chapter 2 is my number 2.
I'm not mad at that.
I don't know if Invisible Man is a horror movie.
That shit's fire.
But that was a solid one too.
Oh man, that was good.
That's up there for me too. That's might be like in my top 4.
Can you imagine watching Hollow Man and then watching Invisible Man and you just like, what the fuck? Yeah. Yo, Kevin Bacon was just having fun with his movie.
Does Kevin Bacon count as a comeback?
Because he never left. I don't think he ever stopped.
He never stopped.
But his stuff wasn't as big, right? I'm counting that as well. Like sometimes I think those large actors, they scale back and they go do smaller things, like because it just allows them to just showcase their talent as opposed to their stardom as well.
I mean, because you have a lot of them that do plays. Samuel L. Jackson does a lot of live plays and performances.
Denzel did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking more so people who just stepped away from acting altogether.
That's what I was thinking too.
They just
went out of the way and just did. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
Lisa, what's yours? I'm kind of curious. What's yours?
Oh, for the
yeah.
Okay, let me do it twice. Since Chris, y'all thought it was decade. I'm sure you already got it written down. What was your movie for the decade, Lisa?
Oh, for this decade. I was thinking about leaning into The Invisible Man, actually.
Okay.
Because it was done so well, and the story was like creepy, and it was because is he there? Is he not there? You heard a sound. And in that kitchen scene where,
the scene where he killed her sister.
That was at the restaurant.
Ooh, that was fire. Oh. And she was sitting there. Elizabeth, that's great acting because if I see that,
the knife, like,
and you just see her face, and she like, what the fuck is going on? And she know no one's gonna believe me. Like, yo, that's the Invisible Man. It's like that.
Did you come up with one? Or you riding with? You said you riding with Chris Anson.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, yeah, that was fun.
That's a good question.
But this is the conclusion of the episode, guys and gals. So I do appreciate y'all. Oh, you got something, Lisa?
Well, Link of Thrones. You don't do that no more.
I was getting to it.
Lisa was like, wait a minute, we missing some segments.
Jazz, did you have what you think though?
I did. I had 2. What did you think those? This is the part of this episode, the segment where we reached out and asked you guys, what did you think about the movie? Have you said, man, I don't know what I watched. I think I liked it, but I don't know why. And then the Craft Misfit said creepy vibe, didn't care for the end. So those were the only two what did you think those that I had for this film?
Okay.
I mean, I don't think this movie would be for everybody, to be honest.
No. I mean, I think that's what makes horror good. I mean, there's different versions or subgenres of horror. You said they got an In Violent Nature Part 2 allegedly coming, but also they're making it's kind of like In Violent Nature, but it's about a supernatural entity instead that's chasing people. I guess I don't like. It made me think of what's that movie, Jazz? You reviewed?
Casper?
No,
It follows.
No, not that neither.
It follows.
Not It Follows. Nope. There's a number 2 coming out though.
Yeah,
they still coming. Wait, no, is that?
They still coming. That's an amazing part 3
that is
title.
Kind of a title. Yeah,
that is a really great title. I swear, part 3 is like they still coming.
Yo, that's an excellent title.
Ooh, this is gonna age well if that is the title. Fed up.
But Link of Thrones, man. Link of Thrones is the section of the podcast where we take an actor from the movie and put you onto something that they're in or something that they are about to star in. I've been going to the ladies for the majority. Chris, I'm gonna start with you, my brother. Who you got?
So we already talked about it, but Kiernan Shipka was in Totally Killer, which we already discussed, but it's just an excellent, fun slasher. Like great movie. One of the better of 2023, in my opinion.
Lisa, who do you have?
I feel like Jazz would really appreciate this connection that I'm gonna put. I'm gonna go with Agent Carter, Blair Underwood, who was also in Medea's Family Reunion.
Great.
So.
That was my second choice.
Lisa, since you brought up grits, do you eat grits?
Not regularly. I will eat them, but not regularly.
Do you put sugar or salt and pepper in your grits?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I do sugar.
Oh, fuck. All right, we're out of here.
I'm sorry.
Jazz thought she had a friend.
Because the thing is, here's the thing, Jazz. Remember, I'm half Jamaican, so porridge and all that stuff. Nah, sugar baby girl.
Porridge? Damn, yo, Lisa. I'm not gonna lie.
You haven't had good porridge then.
Lisa, you sounded like a slave just now. I'm sorry. I gotta set you free.
Cornmeal porridge.
Yo, we gotta set you free.
No, you coming down here, and I'm gonna hook you up, yo.
I'm not gonna lie. You're not doing us justice bringing up porridge. Like you should have left that part out. Just been like, yeah, I like sugar, the grits, but the porridge that do sound like some. I always think of A Tale of Two Cities.
That's a Caribbean thing. It's not.
Are you from Philly? You mentioned some Philly teams.
Yes.
So I'm family.
From Philly. My mother is Jamaican.
Got you. So I have family up north. So I don't know if sugar and grits is like a northern thing. Because like my mother, she's from Delaware.
No. I actually didn't eat grits until I got down here.
Okay.
And you eating it wrong.
She's not. Y'all, you putting that bullshit in it. Just wasting some good grits.
Whatever. But my Link of Thrones, I am going to go with Ruth Harker, which is the mother. Alicia Witt, she was in Urban Legend. She was the final girl in Urban Legend.
Don't think about her. Do you know she's only 48 playing the mom?
Yeah.
I thought that one was like 65.
She looks very old in this. But she did, I mean, but she's supposed to. Like she was Lee's mom. Like you can't be looking young. But yeah.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh.
Now you see it?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. Urban Legend was a fun, stupid movie too.
Yeah, it was.
8. So we got that.
And y'all know what? Micah Monroe, Agent Carter, she is the one that's going to be in it. They follow.
Is she?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
She's
10 years.
yeah.
It's
She
her
just
10 years later. 10 years later.
Can I get my Link of Thrones out?
Yeah, my nigga.
You taking too long.
I know. They ain't even give me a chance to
nigga,
make them more. It follows. Damn, my nigga.
First, it was nice meeting you. They're never going to let me come back because apparently I just can't shut up and run the show.
Jason be pausing too much. He over here like.
Yeah, I thought you were still looking, bro. You
exactly.
looking down,
yeah.
like you reading.
I was letting y'all finish what y'all was chatting.
On the playback.
Jazz gonna try to switch back and talk about some goddamn grit balls and how you eat grits and Delaware, Philadelphia, all this. Like
we was talking about grits because grits got thrown on her Link of Thrones, so we had to talk about that. Yeah, she's not an ally though, so it is what it is.
No, she's an ally somewhere. It sounds like, just not with you, and that's okay.
On a slave plantation,
that's okay.
Porridge. Like what the? Harriet left you behind because you was eating porridge, and because y'all eating fucking sugar in your grits.
You see how she talked to you? It's over grits. She's saying that you should be left in slavery over grits.
You too. Yeah, y'all could just be in the same little.
Hey, we can get sugar and grits. Hey, fuck it. I'll be all right.
I think you need to visit to Jamaica, Jazz. I'll take you.
I did go. I was in Jamaica in February. Yeah. Loved it. I ain't had no damn.
Not the chef kiss. All right, man. Hold on. So that was.
Jason, what's yours, dog?
It was Micah Monroe.
Okay.
Micah Monroe, yeah, from It Follows. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. You're welcome. God damn it. Well, she was the lead in that.
Yeah, she's just unrecognizable. At least to me, I didn't think she looked the same in this movie.
No, she's not the same. She's just older.
Well, I think it's also her. She was blonde in It Follows.
It was 9 years ago. I ain't keeping up white women like that.
Yes, you are.
Oh God, I'm not. Unless it's like Sydney Sweeney. So, what? Yes, this is episode 114. Longlegs, perfect for the type of movie that we watch. I appreciate you, Chris, for coming on per usual. Miss you as well, Miss Lisa. You're not banned. Only Jazz bans people from the podcast. I don't.
That's true. But the thing is, I tell them to their face that they banned during the episode that they own. Be like, you're never coming back. I didn't say that to you, Lisa. You fine. But there are some few people that's on that list.
It has nothing to do with me though. See, I just want you to know that. So, yes, episode 114. Currently, the Deadpool and no, it's not Deadpool and Wolverine. Is it? Yeah, Deadpool. No, it's not. It's Hitman. Lisa, the episode you was in is the last one that's on there right now. Yeah, you tripping, cuz. But next week, the week after. Wait, no.
Next week is Boomerang.
Yeah, we taking it back to the 90s.
Oh yeah.
With the strong black movies.
Yeah, strong black movies. Yeah, okay. we got strong black movies now though.
Okay.
But
they're not that strong as the
90s. Because Eddie Murphy had counted as the person that left Hollywood and came back.
Nah.
No. Because he just changed the scope of movies. He didn't leave Hollywood because he still was on track.
Yeah, he started doing like kid-friendly stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I got a question for y'all about Eddie Murphy when we done.
Got you. But
yeah.
Until next time, this is what you got some James? You want to thank the people?
Oh no, thank y'all. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and coming on here and talking with us about movies and shit. We definitely appreciate it. It's always a good time. Movies and shit. Yeah. And everybody and everybody who listens and watches and shares, we definitely appreciate y'all.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
I love it.
Until next time, this is the What's a Good Though podcast. I am Jason.
I am Jazz, whose birthday is on the 14th.
Deuces. Find me a new co-host. You said keep the pod alive.
And I also said certain folks don't need to take my spot. Click stop.
Am I good?
Yeah.
Okay, got you. And like I was looking at Jazz face here. I fixed that, but there we go. I figured something. Yeah, there we go. I was like I was looking at it, I'm like, okay, I see Chris moving. I see Miss Lisa, she going around, she moving her head as I'm talking. I'm like, where about Jazz? Okay, there we go.
Oh, so I got kicked. Sorry.
Yeah. I was curious, like what happened in that. Did you hear what I said? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Long as they did.
Okay.
Hope you didn't ask me no question.
I didn't.